In Fireglass City, the undercurrents were surging. In Fireglass City, the undercurrents were surging. A true reshuffle was brewing. Early morning. The streets were flooded with people, all rushing to one place, Holy Dragon Mansion. It's the final battle. Today is the last battle. If Long Sandfong is able to hold on, the Three Pillars family will no longer challenge him. The Long family will be in danger. What will the result be today? Would Long Sandfong be thinking of forcibly releasing the War Master's chi like he did 2 days ago? I heard that his cultivation is only at the War Elder realm, and he had been forcefully jumping levels to release the War Master Ream all along. I also heard that no matter how strong the continued life pill is, it's not a medicine for reviving the dead. There's definitely no way I can save him today. The crowd began to discuss amongst themselves. On the streets, Lu Feng from the Fengyuan Merchant Union looked at the crowds on the streets and heaved a long sigh. The Long family is finished. At this moment, a middle-aged man walked down from the pavilion, his face ice cold. He glanced at Lu Feng and said coldly, "The Fengyuan Merchant Union has invited you to do something to make you sigh over whose family is finished. Whoever is done doesn't care about our affairs. Our Fengyuan Merchant Union's goal is to not interfere in any place's business. Lu Feng, please remember this clearly." Lu Feng bowed slightly and said, "Yes, Pavilion Master." Then he walked into the room and began to count. Whoosh, 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 asterisk, whoosh, 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 asterisk, seniors, please don't make things difficult for us. If you leave, Master will punish us. Hey, hey, hey. Xiao Tian knocked him out with her sword, then stuck out her tongue. Little Deng, I'm sorry. Senior sister, let's hurry up. The 3 Heaven Sect sisters rushed towards the Long family's residence. Nangong lay quietly waited in front of his closed-door cultivation room. Behind him stood Nangong Yen, Dongfang Jian, and the black-robed old man. Dongfang Jian slightly said, "Isn't it just a lunatic dragon? He's already a dying man. If I were to make a move, I could kill him. There's no need to trouble your grandfather, right?" Black-robed man coughed lightly. Dongfang Jian's expression changed, and he did not say anything else. Nangong Yen held Dongfang Jian's hand and said gently, "Big brother Jian, once the Long family is annihilated, bring me to the Sky Sect." Nangong Yen waited for this day for a long time. With the destruction of the Long family, even if Long Fei didn't die, he had become a stray dog. He didn't dare to appear in the Fireglass City at all, so naturally he no longer had an engagement with her. She didn't have any scruples. Dongfang Jian was immediately overjoyed and quickly nodded. "Sister Yen, I have already told father about our matter. He told me to bring you to the Sky Sect to show you can rest assured." Nangong Yen leaned into Dongfang Jian's embrace, pretending to be shy, and said, I'll be shy when I see your father." He couldn't wait to go to the Heaven Sect right now. Dongfang Jian laughed like a blossoming flower. "Don't be afraid. I'm here." Nangong Yen buried his head in Dongfang Jian's embrace, incomparably happy. For her, directly following Dongfang Jian into the Heaven Sect would save him a lot of trouble, so he would not need to go to Banquet of Forbidden Peak or participate in the competition next spring. A lot of things can be saved, even though, after being guided by Dongfang Jian and the black-robed old man for the past few months, her cultivation had advanced by leaps and bounds. She did not have to worry about these exams, but she was a person who liked to take shortcuts. If he could go directly to the Heaven Sect, he would go straight there. At this moment, the door to the chamber opened. Nangong Lai walked out of the secret room and directly went to the side of the black-robed old man, bowing to him and thanking him. "Thank you for your spirit pellets. My internal injuries are all gone. My cultivation has advanced further." The black-robed elder faintly smiled. "Your Highness, you are too polite." The aura around Nangong Lai's body was completely different from a few days ago. Previously, when he was fighting with Long Sanfeng, he suffered some light injuries. He thought that he would need half a year to recover, but the old man gave him a spirit pill, and he recovered within 3 days. Nangong Lai laughed. Let's go to the Long family. Lunatic Long, today you will certainly die. Nangong Lai was ecstatic, and everything proceeded according to his expectations. The Long family was annihilated. He would quickly take over the power of the Long family, and the Long family army would do the same. This would double his power, and at that time, he would be able to fight with Nangong Hua. Nangong Hua stood on top of the imperial palace's city gate, looked at the red sun rising from the east, and lightly said, "The sky is going to change. Fire Glass City is going to reshuffle." Ha ha! Holy Dragon Mansion. Zhuge Yuan from the divine Zhuge family, Li Tianyang from the Li martial arts sect, and all the famous aristocrats in the city had all come. The Long family martial arts arena. The place was packed with people, more people than the last Long family arena battle. Zhuge Yuan smiled and said, "Today, Lunatic Long won't be able to escape death." Li Tianyang laughed. "Yesterday, fighting with me, he was already severely injured. If he were to forcefully release the War Master's Qi today, even his life would be forfeit. Lunatic Long, a generation of heroes of the Long family is about to perish. The Long family is about to die too. I don't know why, but I'm so happy. Ha ha ha." Zhuge Tianlong, Li Chongtian, and the others were all extremely excited and happy. Zhuge Jinxiang coldly snorted, "It's just a favor for that dog Long Fei. If he was here, I would definitely make him kneel in front of me and kowtow and admit his mistake." During this time, Zhuge Jinxiang trained for the banquet of Forbidden Peak with all his might, and the Zhuge family gave all their cultivation resources. With the help of the spirit pills, Zhuge Jinxiang's cultivation had advanced by leaps and bounds in the past 2 months. He had already stepped into the war chief realm. Li Jun laughed. "Brother Chong, that trash Long Fei has probably turned into sh*T long ago." Zhuge Jinxiang was startled. "What do you mean?" Li Yi laughed loudly. "They were eaten by demonic beasts and digested. Isn't it just sh*T they pulled out?" "Huh. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha." The two of them started laughing maniacally. Li Yi was one of the most outstanding younger generation disciples of Li martial arts sect, and also one of the Li family disciples that had participated in the banquet of Forbidden Peak competition this time. He and Zhuge Jinxiang could be said to be the two tyrants of the Fire Glass City. He did all sorts of evil. All of the Long family disciples in the martial arts arena were unusually unhappy. Hearing Li Yi and Zhuge Jinxiang speak of their young master like that, they all felt stifled anger in their hearts. Jojo could not stop and directly rushed in front of Zhuge Jinxiang, shouting, "The two of you are the ones who have turned into sh*T. Just as Zhuge Jinxiang was laughing happily, Jojo arrived in front of him and was shocked. At the same time, his eyes flashed with a trace of evil, and he said, "I had long heard that there was a servant girl beside Long Fei who looked like a fairy. It must be you, right?" "Little beauty." Jojo coldly snorted. "Please speak with respect. This is the Long family, not a place for hooligans like you to behave atrociously." "Yo, yo, yo. What a powerful mouth." Li Yi's eyes were also filled with an evil light as he said, "Little beauty, come have some fun with us." As they spoke, equals semi/floating life plus, a hand went up to her. Also here, a cold dagger was placed on Li Yi's neck. A cold voice filled with killing intent rang out. "If you dare to even touch her, your head will fall to the ground." Cold, cold. Li Yi immediately stopped and nearly peed his pants in fright. Chapter 7 arrived. 8_8419/2356482. I won't move, I won't move. I won't move, I won't move. I won't move at all. You have to be careful. If you hurt me. Li Yi's voice was cold as he looked to the side, with the corner of his eyes. It was the same for Zhuge Jianxiang. He, too, did not dare to make a move. There was also a cold dagger on his neck. With just a slight movement, that dagger would pierce through his throat. Jojo stood there, huffing and puffing. Young Master Longfei will not die. You all are all big stupid pigs. Huh. The two of them were stunned. Even Shadow was stunned for a moment. What is a big stupid pig? Jojo really did not know how to curse and could only stammer and stutter for a long while. To her, the big stupid pig was already her limit. With that, Jojo left in a huff. The silhouette said coldly, "Don't move, don't move, don't move." The sound gradually disappeared. Zhuge Jianxiang and Li Yi turned around after a few minutes, but there was no trace of them. The two of them relaxed, causing Zhuge Jianxiang to breath heavily, and said fiercely, "You two little bitches, just you wait. Once Lunatic Long dies, I want to see where you can run to." Li Yi said in a bad mood, "It's not good for one. This time, there are two of them. Strong brother, we each happen to have one." Ha ha ha. Soon, the two of them started laughing gleefully again. At this moment, the crowd was in an uproar. The people from the Nangong imperial clan have arrived. The Duke of Nangong has arrived. Everyone turned to look, only to see Nangong lay slowly walking out with his daughter and Dongfang Jian. At this moment, the sky darkened and an arrogant war master aura diffused outwards. With a heavy roar, he shouted, "Long Sanfeng, come out and die." As soon as his voice fell, the sky began to rumble with thunderous explosions. This was the sound of the War Master Ream's pressure crushing the air. It was also the standard of the War Master Ream. It was extremely vigorous. In the entire training grounds, other than a few experts of the War Master Ream, everyone's heart sank. Their breaths and sounds were all crushed. There was no sound from the audience. Nangong Lai descended from the skies and landed on the stage. The moment he landed, the aura of the War Master exploded once more, forming a strength stripes that shot out explosively. As though releasing all of their might, everyone's breathing became normal and their voices returned to normal. What a powerful aura! The Nangong family's #1 expert. Ha ha ha. Brother Lai, I was still injured a few months ago. I never thought that not only is I fully recovered, my peak realm is almost at the first level of the War Master. Ha ha ha. War Master level 1, peak realm. He could be considered the strongest existence in 3 pillars. Zhuge Tianlong, Li Chongtian's heart sank, and looked at Dongfang Jian, who was beside him. They were all jealous. The backers of the Sky Sect were indeed different. Nangong Lai's arrogant and unbridled gaze swept across the entire arena. The thick aura of the War Master Ream surged forth once again as he roared out, "Lunatic Long, come out and accept your death." Boom, boom, boom. His voice was like an explosion, echoing in the air above the Long family residence. "Why are you making such a ruckus?" Nangong Lai, whose voice do you think is louder? Long Sanfeng walked out. The Long family disciples quickly opened a path. Long Zhanhai followed behind him, staring at Nangong Lai, who was standing on stage, his fists clenched tightly. Ha ha ha. Nangong Lai laughed out wildly, looked at Long Sanfeng, and laughed. "I didn't have enough last time. Today, I will fight you for 300 rounds. Lunatic Long, you won't reject, will you?" "Of course. It's fine if you refuse. The entire Long family will be reduced to our Nangong Imperial clan slaves." Long Sanfeng's eyes opened wide, as though he was glaring at King Kong, and shouted, "Impudent!" Boom! The aura of the War Master in his body shook, as well, releasing a powerful aura that shook the entire martial ground. Nan Gonglai sneered and said, "Lunatic Long, you are already at the point where you have run out of oil, yet you still dare to forcefully release War Master Reem. You truly overestimate yourself. Nan Gonglai, you'll see if I overestimate my capabilities later." Long Sanfeng revealed a strange smile. He was ready. Even if he died, he would also drag Nan Gonglai down with him. If Nan Gonglai died, the power of the Fireglass City would be reshuffled once again. The Li family and the Zhuge family definitely wouldn't let go of this good opportunity. Thus, with Nan Gonglai dead, maybe the Long family still had a chance of survival. Nan Gonglai was not scared at all, and sneered, "Don't waste your breath. Lunatic Long, come up and die." Long Sanfeng moved. At this moment, Long Zhanhai suddenly moved. He flew up to the arena ahead of him and stood in front of Nan Gonglai, saying slightly, "I'm the Long family's patriarch. If you want to challenge my father, you have to pass through me first." "Huh." Nan Gonglai looked at Long Zhanhai contemptuously and laughed coldly. You don't even have the qualifications to fight me, so scram to the side." Long Sanfeng also anxiously said, "Zhanhai, get down here." Long Zhanhai didn't move and sneered. "What? Are you scared? Nan Gonglai, if you are afraid, I will let you use one hand." As soon as his voice faded, the entire city was in an uproar. "Is he courting death?" Nan Gonglai squinted his eyes and said coldly, "If you are courting death, then don't blame me." He moved his body. Boom! The aura of the War Master quickly pounced towards Long Zhanhai. Nan Gonglai's figure also arrived in front of Long Zhanhai in an instant as his right palm moved. Ardent Flame Palm. Long Zhanhai simply could not see Nan Gonglai's figure clearly. The difference in levels was simply too great. He was only a war chief and was fundamentally not on the same level. The moment he rushed up the arena, he knew what his ending would be: death. But he wanted to use his own death to consume more of Nan Gonglai's true breath, and also buy a bit more time for his father. He was the Long family's head. In his heart, he hated himself for being limited in talent. He hated himself for not being able to take up the banner of the Long family. He hated himself for being useless. However, he knew that he was the Long family's patriarch, and he was slightly worried that Duan Ling Tian would have to shoulder the responsibility. Bam! Long Zhanhai did not retaliate. Instead, he used all of his true breath for defense and struck him in the chest with his palm. All of his clothes on his chest burned away, and a palm print clearly visible on his 5 fingers burned his chest. Cough, cough, cough. Long Zhanhai coughed, immediately blood gushing everywhere. Nan Gonglai disdainfully said, "You overestimate yourself." "Who knew?" Long Zhanhai crawled up with much difficulty, looked at Nan Gonglai with a pale face, and shouted, "I haven't lost yet." "Huh." Nan Gonglai frowned. "You didn't lose, did you?" As soon as he finished, a palm struck out. Long Zhanhai got up again and said, "I haven't lost yet." Nan Gonglai was enraged and said, "Do the Long family members have bones? I want to see how hard your bones are." Equals half carat float, hashtag. Hashtag life carat, both of his hands formed fists. And the moment Long Zhanhai stood up, bang, 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 his fist was like a violent storm as it punched out. "Did you lose?" "Huh." Chapter 8 is here. 8_8419/2356483. With every punch, Long Zhanhai spat out a mouthful of blood. With every punch, Long Zhanhai spat out a mouthful of blood. After 10 seconds, he was covered in blood. However, as before, he did not fall, but his eyes were still staring straight at Nangong Lai. He grinned, revealing his bloody teeth, and laughed. Ha ha ha. I haven't lost yet. Ha ha ha. Cough, cough, cough. Laughing and spitting blood. The entire audience was shocked. Everyone was dumbfounded. They were all shocked by Long Zhanhai. Even Long Sanfeng himself was the same, clenching his fists tightly, his teeth chattering loudly. Zhanhai, enough, enough. Patriarch, patriarch. Ah. The eyes of all the disciples from the Long family were bloodshot, looking at the bloodied Long Zhanhai on the stage. Every one of the disciples was furious. The people from the other clans were also shocked. The Long clan really are tough. They didn't die even after being beaten up like this. Suddenly, Nangong Yen shouted loudly, "Grandfather, kill him!" With that said, many of the Long family disciples stared at Nangong Yen with passionate gazes, their eyes filled with hatred. How could such a woman be worthy of being the wife of the Long family? Nangong Yen's face revealed a sense of superiority, and laughed coldly. A bunch of trash. Cluck, 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 cluck. Anger, incomparable rage. Jojo, the shadow, was extremely furious towards the three Sky Sect sisters. Xiao Tian Tian could not help but say, "I really want to tear her mouth apart." If Lu Luoshi did not stop her, she would have rushed out and fight to the death with Nangong Yen. At this moment, Zhuge Yuan also said, "Brother Lai, since he's courting death, why be so lenient? Kill him, and then kill lunatic Long." Li Tianyang also laughed. "Isn't the Long family's bones hard? Could he be harder than a knife? Brother Lai, do you want me to lend you a knife?" The disciples of the three pillars all started to cheer. "Kill him! Kill him!" The scene had lost some control. The Long family disciples were also panicking. All of them were looking at the Grand Master Long Sanfeng. Long Sanfeng stared at Nangong Lai and said, "You dare!" Nangong Lai was already filled with anger, but now that he had been made extremely unhappy by Long Zhanhai, and also saw Long Sanfeng's angry expression, he laughed in disdain. "See if I dare!" Suddenly, Nangong Lai suddenly retreated a step and moved his palm. Boom! The flames began to burn. The strongest palm of the fiery palm. "Exterminate the heavens!" Long Sanfeng roared out. "Zhanhai, quickly dodge!" As he spoke, he also rushed towards the arena. However, the distance was too far, and Nangong Lai's speed was just too fast. Without waiting for him to rush up the stage, Nangong Lai laughed sinisterly and said, "Die!" Burning heaven annihilation. Boom! The flame palm energy blotted out the sky and covered the earth as it rushed forward. Long Zhanhai simply could not dodge it. He almost couldn't stand still as he stood there swaying from side to side. When he saw Nangong Lai rushing over, he used all his strength to say, "The Long family will never surrender." Rumble! 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 The sound shook the sky, and the flames engulfed Long Zhanhai. Also at that instant, Long Zhanhai's body flew out like a broken kite and directly flew dozens of meters away, smashing into the wall of the martial arts arena. The whole wall collapsed. Long Zhanwu was buried within the ruins. Long Sanfeng rushed forward with all his might, while the other disciples of the Long family also rushed forward with all their might. "Zhanhai, patriarch!" The power of this move was too strong. On the stage, Nangong Lai sneered and said, "This is what happens when you overestimate yourself. Lunatic Long, the next one is you." Long Sanfeng's hands dug into the ground. His fingers were bleeding. He was completely unaware. The white color on his forehead had scattered down. At that moment, he really looked like a 100-year-old man. The old man who would fall if the wind blew. After digging Long Zhanhai out from the ruins, Long Sanfeng looked at his son, who had a face full of dust, and hugged him tightly in his embrace. Zhanhai! Ah! 2 streams of tears fell down. Tears streamed down his face. With pain in his heart, Long Sanfeng coughed continuously to the point of spitting out blood. The eyes of the surrounding Long family disciples were also filled with anger, and they were also filled with incomparable grief. At this moment, cough, cough, Long Zhanhai coughed softly. While he was unconscious, he continued, I have not lost, I have not lost. The patriarch is still alive. A Long family disciple shouted. The entire audience was in an uproar. On the stage, Nangong Lai's eyes trembled. As though he had been humiliated, he clenched his fists tightly, and his joints started popping out. He's still alive. He's still alive. The patriarch is still alive. Long Sanfeng held onto Long Zhanhai's pulse. There is still her pulse, and pulse higher, higher. Tears of joy. Even though he was unconscious, he still had a weak pulse. He was not dead. At this moment, Lu Luoshi quickly rushed over, squatted down beside Long Sanfeng, and said, Grandpa Long, this is a spiritual recovery pill. It's a heaven tear healing pill. Quickly give it to him to consume. Long Sanfeng immediately said gratefully, Thank you. Break open Long Zhanhai's mouth, and let him consume this spirit pellet. Nangong Lai suddenly moved. Boom. He instantly stood behind Long Sanfeng and said angrily, since he said he did not lose, Then this battle is not over yet. Continue. The mountain peak of the dragon trembled in anger. With a roar that was like a dragon's, it said, Nangong Lai. Lu Luoshi took out his sword and blocked in front of Nangong Lai, then said, Nangong Lai, the person has already been beaten to such a state by you. Are you still not going to stop? Xiao Tian, Yi Zian rushed over. Xiao Tian also took out his long sword and said, I won't allow you to continue bullying Grandpa Long. Jojo stood outside, extended his hands, blocking Nangong Lai's path, and said, You are not allowed to bully the Grand Elder. Shadow was waiting for the right moment to make his move. The 3 sisters of the Heaven sect stood up. There was another round of whispers. Nangong Lai also frowned, looking at him from the corner of his eyes. Dongfang Jian coldly snorted and said, Lu Luoshi, what are you trying to do? The Heaven sect have no right to interfere in the matters of the Fireglass City. The 3 of you must quickly retreat. Lu Luoshi did not bother about him at all and looked at Nangong Lai. Today, I will use my status as an inner disciple of the Sky Sect to warn you, do not take any action against the Long family, or else. As she spoke, a sound transmission from the idea reached Nangong Lai's sea of consciousness. Nangong Lai laughed in scorn, and before Lu Luoshi could finish, he immediately cut him off and said, Otherwise, what about it? Xiao Tian huffily said, Otherwise, I won't be courteous to you. How dare you? Boom. A burst of war master pressure burst out from Nangong Lai's body, immediately crushing Xiao Tiantian's mind, causing him to cough out a mouthful of blood. Lu Luoshi's brows tightened. Tian, junior sister apprentice. The 2 girls moved at the same time, both swords aimed towards Nangong Lai. It was also at this time. Long Sanfeng's figure blurred as he shouted, Nangong Lai, the person you want to challenge is me. It has nothing to do with them. Come. With that, he flew to the stage, where the War Master was burning, eyes bloodshot, staring straight at Nangong Lai. Equals semi/floating life plus, Nangong Lai laughed coldly. At this moment, Fireglass City, City Gate. We've finally arrived. Chapter 9. Sent. 8_8419/2356484. Long Family Martial Arts Practice Field. Long Family Martial Arts Practice Field. After retracting Nangong Lai's aura, Xiao Tian, was unable to stand steadily. If not for Yi Xian's timely support, he would have fallen to the ground. Puffed. Xiao Tian could not hold on and vomited another mouthful of blood. The difference in realm between her and Nangong Lai was too big. She could not withstand the pressure of the War Master Reem at all. In other words, Xiao Tiantian's foundation was deep. If it was a normal warrior, his internal organs would have probably ruptured, and he would die. Senior sister, don't let him enter the arena. If Grandpa Long is willing, then he's definitely not a match for him. Xiao Tian said weakly. Yi Xian looked at Lu Luoxi. Suddenly, the two girls attacked at the same time. Whoosh whoosh, *2 sword struck over. The sword technique behind it was extremely profound. The figure moved like a fairy scattering flowers. It directly sealed off Nangong Lai's path. Nangong Lai was forced to take a few steps back. With a grimace between his eyebrows, he stared at Lu Luoxi and said, Miss Yi, I don't want to hurt you too, but don't provoke me, or humph. In the arena, Long Sanfeng also said, Ladies, many thanks for your kind intentions. This is a matter of the Long family. It should be handled by me. He knew a little about the rules of the Heaven sect. Do not interfere in local affairs. If you offend, you will be severely punished. His heart was filled with gratitude towards Lu Luoxi and the others, especially since that spirit pellet had saved his son's life. He was grateful in his heart and was also happy for Long Fei. However, he couldn't let them get involved. Lu Luoxi replied, Grandpa Long, we promised Long Fei that we would protect the Long family. We will definitely do so. This was a lie to Long Sanfeng. Long Fei hadn't told him anything at all. Yi Xian stared at Nangong Lai and said, Since you know our names, then you should be clear of our position in the Heaven sect. Nangong Lai, you are anxious to stop now. To offend us, your King Nangong residents will not benefit. Indeed, they were both the daughters of inner court elders and possessed formidable powers. Nangong Lai was also troubled in his heart, but the voice just now told him that there was no need to worry about all this. Nangong Yen was extremely unhappy to hear what Lu Luoxi said, and said, Big Brother Jian, I hate them. Dongfang Jian suddenly moved. Her figure was floating like a fairy as she landed beside Nangong Lai, and lightly smiled. Grandpa Lai, just leave the things that you have to do to me. The two of them will do. Dongfang Jian's appearance shocked the entire arena. Everyone was looking at him, and there were quite a few girls who were infatuated with him. So handsome. What a gorgeous movement technique. His background is not simple at all. I heard that he is the only son of the Chao Tian sect's vice sect master, and that his cultivation has reached the peak realm, so he is very strong. Sigh. With this relationship, Nangong Lei will have an even greater power in the Duke Nangong Palace. Everyone was discussing Dongfang Jian. Dongfang Jian's gaze was ice cold, his expression filled with contempt, extremely arrogant. Nangong Yen enjoyed the discussions around him and spoke in a spoiled manner. Big Brother Jian, do your best. Nangong Lai said, Little Jian, then I'll leave them to you. Dongfang Jian moved his sword, releasing the aura of the peak of the war chief, and said, Grandpa Lai, don't worry. Then Dongfang Jian stared at Lu Luoxi and said, Junior sister apprentice, I advise the two of you to obediently surrender. I don't want to injure the two of you. Humph, Yi Xian said unhappily, I still don't know who's injured. Shua. The two of them moved at the same time as Lu Luoxi stopped Nangong Lai with a sword. Nangong Lai did not move. Dongfang Jian blocked his attack with his sword and sent Lu Luoxi's sword flying. With a step forward, he pointed his cold sword at the center of Lu Luoxi's brows, revealing a cold and disdainful smile. Junior sister apprentice, you're too weak. You're not my opponent at all. Is that so? Look behind you. He didn't know when. The image of a sword-teethed tiger appeared behind Dongfang Jian. The idea moved. The sword-teethed tiger roared and pounced forward. This was the highest quality sword-teethed tiger rune that Long Fei had refined. It was very powerful. Dongfang Jian frowned, his figure flashed, and a burst of strong sword qi burst out from his body. Shocking moon sword technique, break for me. Buzz. The sword qi moved and thrusted forward, causing the top-quality sword-teethed tiger talisman to fall onto the sleigh. However, at this moment, his back felt a chill. Lu Luoshi's long sword pierced forward, while Yi Zian, who was at the other side, also thrust forward. Dongfang Jian was very unhappy and shouted angrily, "Junior sister apprentice, you are courting death." Buzz. Dongfang Jian's body released a burst of power. Following that, his figure became extremely heavy, as though there were suddenly multiple clones inside his body. Sky sword art. Top-tier sword technique in the Chao Tian sect. How could you know this kind of sword technique? You have no right to train at all. Yi Zian exclaimed. The illusory sky sword technique, a peak 9th level heaven stage sword art that was 1 level higher than the 9 heavens divine sword technique. It was a sword art that could create multiple illusions. It was extremely sharp. Dongfang Jian coldly snorted and said, "Since you know, then just lie down." Whoosh, 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 asterisk whoosh, 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 asterisk whoosh, whoosh, asterisk Dongfang Jian created 3 clones images. Every sword attack was as fast as lightning and instantly broke Lu Luoshi's sword technique, and even directly injured them. Swish, swish, Lu Luoshi and Yi Zian staggered backwards, their clothes stained red on their shoulders, their faces pale white. To slay S. Xiao Tiantian was not convinced. "Dongfang Jian, I will fight it out with you." Dongfang Jian sneered and said, "Just now, it was I who remembered your father's identity and already killed you. Don't you dare come back. I will absolutely not show mercy." Lu Luoshi's gaze turned cold as he said, "Then don't be lenient." Up. The 3 sisters rushed up together. At the same time, rumble, rumble, rumble. A series of thunderous booms rang out. The 3 women were instantly stunned. On the stage, Long Sanfeng's body was swaying unsteadily, blood was continuously flowing out of his mouth, and his battle chi was completely suppressed. Nangong Lai's palm struck Long Zhanwu's chest, flipped him over, and stepped on him. He coldly laughed. "Lunatic Long, is that all you have? Weren't you always so arrogant? Isn't your Long family awesome? Huh. You're a dead dog now. Ha ha ha." Previously, he was stomped by the Long family, but now the anger in his heart was released, and his right leg slashed down heavily. Boom! He stepped on Long Sanfeng's chest. Crack! His ribs were fractured, and blood spurted out. Nangong Lai laughed sinisterly. "Come, get up and come again. Today, I want to see how hard the Long family's bones are." His right fist moved. 36-0 search. Half floating / / equals the true breath in Nangong Lai's pubes started to surge crazily as it punched towards Long Sanfeng's head. "Die!" It was also at this time. The crowd exclaimed, "There's a huge dragon in the sky." The 10th chapter was delivered. 8_8419/2356485. A cry of alarm rang out. A cry of alarm rang out. Many people raised their heads to look at the sky. Next, there's a huge dragon. There's a giant dragon in the sky. Dragon! Look, it's a dragon! His astonished expression was just like an hour later when he saw the plane in the sky. He was very excited, but also very surprised. Suddenly, Someone is standing on the back of the dragon. Sure enough, there's someone standing on the dragon's back. Who is that person? It seems to be Long Fei. His voice was like a bomb, exploding in martial arts arena. Even Nangong Lai, who was on the stage, suddenly stopped and looked towards the sky. The Long family disciples were all shocked. Young Master is back. The people from the Three Pillars were also shocked, especially Nangong Lai, as they thought to themselves, why is he back? Eldest senior sister, it's him. It's Long Fei. Xiao Tian didn't know why, but he couldn't help but cry. He looked at the sky and yelled, Bastard, you also know how to come back, woo. Lu Luoshi, Yi Zian also could not hold back their tears. Jojo shouted loudly, Young Master, save grandfather. Who else could it be other than Long Fei, who was riding on the dragon's back? He had just entered the city when he heard the passers-by discussing the Long family's matter. Immediately, without caring about anything else, he summoned the fire and ice directly. Long Sanfeng laid on the ground and looked at the sky, looking at the huge dragon. He laughed, then laughed out loud. As the corners of his eyes became moist, the heavens won't kill my Long family, ha ha ha. The heavens will not destroy my Long family. At this moment, Nangong Lai's eyes turned sinister. He stared at Long Sanfeng, who was on the ground, and laughed coldly. Heaven will not destroy the Long family. I will exterminate it. Lunatic Long, go to hell. The punch landed. The disciples of the Long family shouted in unison, Grand Elder! Long Zhanhai slowly woke up, looked at his father who was on the stage, and exclaimed, Father! Grandpa Long! Everyone's heart rose to their throats. This punch of Nangong Lai's would definitely blast Long Sanfeng to death, and he would definitely not show any mercy. Jojo looked at Long Fei, who was in the sky, and muttered, Young Master, quickly save grandfather. Roar! Master, the distance is enough. Ding! Target locked. Long Fei hysterically roared. Nangong Lai, fuck your ancestors. Ice and fire 9 heavens. The first stage. Kill. Long Fei looked at his grandfather who was on the stage, and his heart was crying blood. From the moment he arrived, he did not hesitate at all, and directly released his skill of combining ice and fire. Rumble, rumble, rumble. A black vortex appeared in the sky, and it split into 9 layers. In that instant, Long Fei's idea and the ice and fire idea combined into one. It directly drew upon the strength of the first level. A ray of laser light shot down and directly pierced through Nangong Lai's body. Ah! 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 Nangong Lai screamed like a pig being butchered, his entire body trembling. His fist was just a few centimeters away from Long Sanfeng, but it couldn't hit him down no matter what. It was as if everything in his body had been completely crushed. Unwell. It was extremely uncomfortable. Boom. A loud sound echoed out. Nangong Lai's body suddenly exploded, and it happened in this very instant. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing, Nangong Lai for obtaining 10 experience points, true breath points, and energy values points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Thunderclock. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining. Several notifications sounded consecutively. Ha ha ha. The clan foundation treasure of the Nangong family, the Thunderclock, has been revealed. Long Fei was shocked. Instant kill. The first floor's ice and fire 9 heavens had a 5% chance of being instantly killed. He never thought that it would be met by Nangong Lai. However, Long Fei was only slightly shocked for a moment. Other than the Thunderclock S, he did not care what happened to Nangong Lai. Boom. The entire stage was in ruins. Long Fei stood there, his eyes filled with endless killing intent as he swept his gaze across the entire stage. Silence. No one made a sound. They were all looking at him. Long Fei walked to Long Sanfeng's side and helped him up. Seeing his grandfather's body covered in blood, the anger in his heart was like a volcano erupting, which released a cold, killing intent unstoppably. Is the Long family easy to bully? You like taking turns to challenge people, right? Come. Everyone, come at your father. The War Master Reem is amazing, right? Zhuge Yuan, Li Tianyang, you two are awesome, right? Come on up. I don't believe that I can't kill you two despicable old bastards. While they were talking, ice and fire circled around the Long family household and also heavily descended. Standing at Long Fei's life, they suddenly roared out. Roar! It was too shocking. A man and a dragon. They were intrepid to the extreme. Zhuge Yuan couldn't say a word. It was the same with Li Tianyang. Their cultivation was higher than Long Fei's by a few dozen realms, but they could not break Thru's barrier. Yet they were completely crushed by Long Fei now. This feeling was too unbearable. The disciples of the Three Pillars were even more terrified. Some of them even fell to the ground from fright. Their legs became so weak that they couldn't even stand up. Who dared to move? He didn't even dare to go forward to issue a challenge. With one move, Long Fei killed Nangong Lai, who was at the peak of the first level of War Master. Who would dare to make a move? No one. Zhuge Yuan didn't dare to do so. Li Tianyang didn't dare to do so either. Their hearts were all cold, looking at Long Fei and looking at the huge dragon with sinister eyes. There was only fear in their hearts. There was no sound. Long Fei's gaze turned sinister. Aren't all of you very arrogant? Aren't you trying to kill my Long family? Are you fucking dumb now? Come on. Aren't we going to kill him? Come the F***CK over to Laozi. He was like a mad demon. Along the way, he had thought about how the Long family would be in danger, but he never thought that it would be to such an extent. Still no one spoke. Long Fei's eyes turned and stared at Dongfang Jian, who was standing not far from the stage, and shouted, "You are awesome, right? Bullying my woman. What the F***CK are you? Come and fight me if you dare." Dongfang Jian's face was ashen. The hatred in his heart roiled about, but he didn't dare to move. And also because of fear. Xiao Tian stared at Long Fei with blinking eyes, her cheeks flushed red, and said shyly, "Who is your woman?" It's embarrassing to say it in front of so many people. Long Fei stared at Dongfang Jian and said, "If you don't dare to come up, then scram." And then Long Fei's gaze turned again as he stared at Nangong Lai and said coldly, "Nangong Lai, your father was killed by me. Do you want revenge?" Nangong Lai did not dare to move. Long Fei looked at Nangong Lai's head beneath his feet and then fiercely stomped his foot down and exploded it. "Come, take revenge for your father." "I dare not." No one dared. Chapter 11. Qingcheng, Xian, this chapter supports you. For all this time. Hai Yang thanks you for your support. 8_8419/2356486. Everyone was dumbfounded. Everyone was dumbfounded. The 1,000 people in martial arts arena were completely crushed by Long Fei alone. Domineering. An incomparable domineering aura. The last time was at the martial arts practice grounds. This time, he was in the martial arts practice field. The arrogant to the extreme, overbearing aura that came from Long Fei's body made everyone feel fear in their hearts. The originally arrogant Three Pillars did not dare to make a single sound. When Nangong Lai saw his father die in Long Fei's hands, he did not dare to make the slightest sound, because he was afraid, extremely afraid. Crush the entire arena. He was a complete mess. Long Fei looked at his grandfather, who was beside him, his heart becoming anxious. He could feel that his grandfather's aura was becoming weaker and weaker. If it were not for the fact that his grandfather needed treatment, Long Fei would not even bother to talk to them and would have directly killed him. And then Long Fei said sinisterly, "Since no one dares to challenge me, then get the hell out of the Long family." Scram! His voice shook. All the disciples of the Long family shouted in unison, "Get out of the Long family!" Scram! Those people were like an amnesty. They scrambled and crawled their way out, wishing that they could grow another pair of legs. They were being crushed by the tyrannical aura on Long Fei's body. Suddenly, Long Fei's gaze fell on Nangong Yan's body, and his voice turned cold as he said, "Nangong Yan!" Nangong Yan's body trembled and stopped on the spot. It was very hard. Just as if the scythe of the god of death was placed on her neck, it instantly stopped, tightly clenched its fists, and her entire body was trembling nonstop. The scene of the death of grandfather Nangong continuously flashed through her mind. Long Fei continued, "You're my woman. Even if I don't want you, you're still my woman. You want to end the engagement, right? You can forget about it for the rest of your life. 3 years later, I will let you become Long Fei's plaything. I can play with you however I want. Understand? Killing such a woman would only be letting her off easily. Long Fei would not kill her. He wanted Nangong Yan to live in a nightmare. He would live in a nightmare for the rest of his life." Nangong Yan's face was pale white, her lips were purple, and her body was shaking nonstop. She could not control it at all, and she could not say a single word. Finally, it was Nangong Lei who supported her and barely managed to walk out of the training grounds. "Long Fei, I want to kill you. I want to kill you. I want to kill you." He was just like a shrew. This was the effect that Long Fei wanted. Killing was easy. Nangong Yan liked to scheme and scheme. This kind of person was too easy to kill with one slash. Moreover, what a pity to kill such a beautiful woman. After a few minutes, only the Long family members were left in the training field. Everyone looked at Long Fei, all of them extremely excited. "Young master is mighty. The young lord is mighty. The young lord is mighty." Long Fei heaved a heavy sigh and said, "The Long family members just have a little bit of the Long family's power. Take back all the things that the Long family has lost." At this time, they had to counterattack. He had to let the people of Three Pillars know that the Long family was not so easily bullied. However, Long Fei was very worried in his heart. The people of the Three Pillars were only temporarily intimidated, and once they calmed down, a new round of competition would begin, and it would be even more intense than today. He alone was far from enough. His cultivation was only at the 9th level of the war spirit. He didn't even have a war chief realm. The Long family now had to stand firmly. There was only one way. Someone broke through to the War Master Ream, a real War Master Ream. Jojo said anxiously, "Young master, Grandpa Long is about to die." Long Fei's face sank, and immediately said, "Prepare the bath barrel. Hurry!" "Ice and fire." The ice fire dragon immediately said, "Master, I'm ready." After releasing the combined attack, he was almost at his limits, but he knew what his master was worried about, so he painfully persevered. Half an hour later, Long Sanfeng's courtyard, a gash appeared on the body of the fire, and ice as the dragon blood dripped down, forming an entire vat. Without waiting for Long Fei to speak, Bing Hu directly said, "Master, don't say anything. Saving someone is more important." Finished. Bing Hu continued, "I need to rest." They swiftly returned to Long Fei's mount space. Long Fei didn't act hypocritically as he placed his grandfather's entire body into the bath barrel and poured the dragon's blood into it. During this period of time, Long Fei took out a few high-grade fire attribute spirit herbs that he had harvested from the great desolate mountain range and placed them into the dragon's blood. After doing everything, Long Fei left the room. He had already done everything he could do, and now it all depended on his grandfather. Long Fei closed the door, looked at the weak Uncle Long Zhanhai, and said, "Uncle, grandfather will definitely be fine. Quickly go rest." Long Zhanhai looked at Long Fei with a heavy gaze. His heart was filled with gratitude as he patted Long Fei's shoulders and said, "Xiao Fei, good job." Finished. Long Zhanhai turned and slowly left. He needed time to rest and was severely injured. If not for Lu Luoshi's pill, he would have died. Long Fei looked at his eldest uncle's aged back, and his heart once again hurt. Although he did not see Long Zhanhai endure countless of Nangong Lai's attacks, Long Fei could clearly feel the wounds on his body. "Uncle, when the injury of ice and fire is slightly better, I will give you the dragon blood." Every disciple of the Long family has it. Long Fei clenched his fists. That was what he thought when he wanted to catch fire and ice alive. Not to mention, the fire and ice were enormous, so a little dragon blood wouldn't harm him at all. "Young master, how is Grandpa?" When Long Fei walked out of the courtyard gate, he rushed towards the three sisters of the Sky Sect. Long Fei said, "Grandfather will be fine." And then Long Fei looked at Lu Luoshi and said, Thank you for coming to help the Long family. Long Fei, will remember your kindness." Xiao Tian laughed heartily. "Ha ha ha. That's right. Did those words you said in martial arts arena come from the bottom of your heart?" "Huh. What do you mean?" Long Fei was not clear about this, but he had said too much. Yi Zian naturally understood the meaning behind Xiao Tiantian's words and curiously looked at Long Fei. It's exactly that sentence. Lu Luoshi glared at them and said, "You're not serious." Xiao Tian stuck out her tongue. Lu Luoshi said, "Long Fei, 3 pillars will definitely not let this go easily. You must be careful, and also, I'm afraid we won't be able to come back to the Long family." They had escaped, so they would definitely be punished when they returned. Especially Baidu search. Half afloat Long Fei had made it difficult for Dongfang Jian, so he would definitely vent his anger on them. Lu Luoshi did not plan to tell Long Fei about this either, as he did not want him to worry about him. Lu Luoshi continued to speak. "We are going into closed-door cultivation. Banquet of Forbidden Peak still is half a month's time. You should prepare yourself. Every year, Banquet of Forbidden Peak will receive a special reward, and this year, the reward will be one of the outer sect disciples. There is no need to take the examination." Ding! Suddenly, a system announcement sounded. Advertisement 8_19/235647. Ding! Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for completing the quest. Mission: Banquet of Forbidden Peak task level. A task goal. Qualifying task reward: 300,000 experience, 10,000 true breath, 2,000 points. Hint: if you receive an S-rank reward, you will receive a special reward as a clue for the Dragon Salyer quest. It was a quest. A level mission. Wasn't even a high-level mission. Long Fei didn't really think much of it at the beginning, but the last sentence made him feel extremely bad. A special reward for obtaining clues from the Dragon Salyer quest. Long Fei was stunned. When he had obtained the Dragon Salyer, he had touched the mission to look for it. The time of the mission was only 1 year, and now there were less than 2 months left. Even though Long Fei knew that the remaining half of the blade was in the Nangong family, but where? He didn't know what to do. If he could complete this quest, Long Fei moved his body and immediately said, "Accept." Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for accepting this quest. It's an S grade, right? Long Fei's heart secretly tensed up. He had to succeed, because the Dragon Salyer S mission only had less than 2 months left. If he did not complete it soon, he would not be able to get the other half of the Dragon Salyer. The Dragon Salyer was a family heirloom of the Long family, and it was even the belief of the Long family's disciples. No matter what price he had to pay, Long Fei had to find it. Xiao Tiantian laughed. Long Fei bastard, you won't not participate, right? We'll all be going. Long Fei regained his senses and laughed. Go, all of you go, I will go as well. Hee hee. It's a deal. Xiao Tiantian laughed and said, You must also get first place, that way you will be qualified to enter the Heaven Sect, and will be able to enter the Heaven Sect together with us. Hee hee. Yi Zian also followed, and said, We must snatch it, or else we will be let down. You hear me? Lu Luoshi glared at them again, then said to Long Fei, We'll be leaving first. After they left, Jojo said somewhat enviously, Young master, they treated you so well. Did you not see? Your 3 sisters tried their best to stop Nangong Lai. If not for them, I'm afraid Grandpa Long wouldn't have waited for you to come back. Moreover, they were all injured by some cheap brother that Nangong Yen brought over. Looking at the 3 sisters of the Heaven Sect, her heart was filled with envy. What she envied was not their relationship with Long Fei, but the fact that they could help Long Fei, and there was nothing she could do. During this time, she had been trying out the cultivation method that Long Fei taught her, but she couldn't. It was useless. No matter how hard he tried, he could not feel the spiritual energy flowing between heaven and earth, let alone absorbing it into the pubes and turning it into true breath. She felt very stupid, very stupid. Long Fei's heart slightly shook and thought to himself, Dongfang Jian, right? My lowly brother, right? Let's see how cheap you can be. And then Long Fei looked at Jojo, who was staring at her with envious eyes, and lightly scratched her nose. Girl, are you jealous? Jojo pouted her lips and said, No problem. Jojo will not be jealous of young master. Jojo would rather all the women be young masters, but Jojo's voice weakened slightly as she said, Jojo doesn't like Nangong Yen, I really don't. Ha ha ha. I will return what she has done to the Long family back to her multiple times more, and her sore spot will be the engagement with me. The more she wants to break off the engagement, the more I won't let her do as she pleases, and then she will become even more angry and manic. Long Fei said with a smile. Jojo was startled, looked at Long Fei, and said, Young master, so it turns out that you're this bad. But Jojo likes your bad side. A woman like Nangong Yen should do this to her. He laughed slyly. Very cute, very naive. Long Fei directly took a step forward, looked at Jojo, and said, You like me being bad. Then why don't I treat you worse too? Ah. Jojo's face flushed red. She stood there with her head lowered like a pillar, not moving at all, waiting for Long Fei. When Long Fei saw her acting like this, his heart ached. He took a step forward and hugged her tightly as he muttered, Foolish in my heart, you will always be the most important. No matter what happened, Jojo would always be the woman Long Fei was most concerned about, because she was a very, very foolish person, foolish enough to use her own body to exchange for someone to protect him, and also the first person to treat Long Fei well since he came to this world. Long Fei will cherish it with all his might. Jojo was moved to tears. She bit her lips and strove to keep herself from crying out. A few minutes later, Jojo struggled free, wiping away the tears on his face, and said, Young master, you must be hungry. I will prepare something for you to eat. With that, he ran off happily. It was also at this time that Long Fei said softly, Come out. As the silhouette appeared, her face was still covered by the black gauze. With her exceptional appearance, only a pair of eyes could be seen. It was truly a waste. Long Fei slightly said, "This time you did very well. This is your reward. You are still too weak right now, and you need to become stronger. Otherwise, you won't even have the qualifications to follow me." Finished, Long Fei gave the image of the divine tiger's body. He had made up his mind on the way here. The shadow did not make a mistake. Jojo protected him very well. This was the reward she deserved. Furthermore, the shadow needed to become stronger. Otherwise, how could it still be his shadow? Shadow's eyes flickered, and her heart was moved. The instant she received the godly tiger's body, her heart was about to melt. In this world, other than her family who treated her well, there was no one else who treated her well like this. Even though Long Fei's words were ice cold, but to her it was incomparably warm. After receiving the godly tiger body, the shadow once again disappeared into the darkness. At this moment, roar! An angry howl of an ash wolf resounded. Next, rumble! 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 A violent explosion came from Long Sanfeng's room. The sound resonated through the 9 heavens, and the entire Fireglass City was trembling. Long Fei frowned. Not good. Immediately, Long Fei shouted, "Without my order, no one is allowed to enter this courtyard." After which he rushed into the courtyard and thought to himself, "Grandfather, grandfather, grandfather, don't let anything happen to him." At this moment, Long Sanfeng's room had already exploded, the windows, doors. It was exploding all over the courtyard. Long Fei was even more worried now. At this moment, Baidu search. Half afloat Long Fei was shocked. He sensed an extremely strong qi, dragon's qi. The moment he rushed into the room, Long Fei was completely stunned. Long Sanfeng's body was densely covered with dragon scales. Dragon blood rebirth. Dragon transformation. Chapter 13. Thank you, brother Qingcheng and Xian, for your support. Thank you, brother. Hai Shui. Thank you. 8_8419/2356488. The densely packed dragon scales covered Long Sanfeng's entire body. The densely packed dragon scales covered Long Sanfeng's entire body. Not a single drop of dragon blood remained in the bath barrel. All of them were absorbed by Long Sanfeng, and other than the dragon's scale, he still had the appearance of a human, as if he had been aged several tens of years. "Grandfather!" Long Fei shouted. Long Sanfeng opened his eyes and looked at Long Fei. In that instant, all the dragon scales on his body were completely hidden. I broke through. At this moment, Long Sanfeng was incomparably excited as he looked at Long Fei. He had broken through. To the people of the Long family, breaking through the War Master Reem had a different meaning compared to other warriors. Because once a member of the Long family breaks through the War Master Reem, dragon scales would appear on their body. The higher their cultivation, the denser the dragon scales would be. This was the secret of the Long family for tens of thousands of years. Within the same cultivation level, he was invincible. To the people of the Long family, breaking through the War Master Reem was the most difficult task, 10 times more difficult than ordinary warriors. Under the stimulation of the dragon blood and the high-grade fire attribute spirit herbs that Long Fei had placed, Long Sanfeng's body underwent a tremendous change, and even broke through his shackles in that instant. Break through the War Master Reem, different from the other strong War Masteress in the Long family. Long Sanfeng had made a breakthrough after absorbing the dragon blood, so the energy contained in his body would be even stronger. Furthermore, he could directly cover his entire body with the dragon scales. Long Sanfeng would become even more unscrupulous. The ancestors of the Long family had slain a divine dragon, drank dragon blood, and could even transform into a dragon and break the void. This was the secret of the Long family. Feeling the thick energy from his grandfather's body, Long Fei was incredibly happy. Now, he no longer had to worry about anything. There was no need to worry at all. Ha ha ha! Ha ha ha! The old and young duo raised their heads to the sky and laughed out loud. The time had come for the Long family to rise again. In another place. Nangong Imperial Clan. What is that sound? Reporting to your highness. It's a voice from the sky above the Long family, accompanied by a dragon cry. A guard quickly reported. Nangong Lei's forehead turned sinister as he slammed his palm on the red wooden table. The mahogany table crumbled to dust. Anger. He was incomparably furious. Watching his father die in front of him, that kind of pain, that kind of anger made him fall into madness. But he actually didn't dare to resist. At that moment, how much did he hate himself? Now, Long Fei returned, bringing back a huge dragon. The Long family was no longer the same Long family. In the main hall, Zhuge Tianlong slightly said, "Your Highness, don't be angry. Wasn't it just a huge dragon?" Li Chongtian also said, "We were all stunned by Long Fei and the huge dragon. If we had attacked together, there would have been no Long family in Fireglass City." Now that they had calmed down and thought about it, they had indeed been scared silly. Who wouldn't be scared silly when they saw Nangong Lai instantly killing the War Master Reem, the arrogant aura on Long Fei's body, and that huge dragon? Even their fathers, Zhuge Yuan and Li Tianyang, were scared silly. However, it's too late to say that now. The situation had already changed. Just then, the black-robed elder from the Sky Sect said softly, "Long Fei is only at the 9th level of the war spirit. This level of cultivation is not enough to kill Nangong Lai. It's that huge dragon. Actually, he is not really a dragon, but a lizard dragon that can fly. In the dragon race, it is the lowest level, and I have sensed its strength. It is not an adult dragon. If it is a War Master Reem Ranker, even if we cannot kill it, we can at least stall it." At that time, the black-robed elder was also stunned. Dragons, to everyone in the Sky Martial Continent, were extremely powerful existences. Only then would they be scared. The black-robed old man continued, "Right now, the Long family is just an illusion. In fact, there is nothing left of the Long family." Nangong Lei's anger soared, but facing the black-robed old man, he still lowered his voice and respectfully asked, "Teacher, what do you think?" He could only rely on the Heaven Sect now. This was his last resort. Zhuge Tianlong had still come to the Duke Nangong Palace because of the Heaven Sect. Otherwise, once Nangong Lai died, they did not even need to care about the palace in any way. The black-robed elder stroked his beard and spoke slowly. "The strongest in the Long family is not Long Fei, nor is it that dragon, nor is it the sickly Long Sandfoam. It is the Long family's army. Once the Long family army is annihilated, the Long family will have nothing left." He flipped through the Long family's documents. The Long family army was truly a terrifying existence, especially that terrifying dragon-locked tactical method, which so far no one had been able to break through. Zhuge Tianlong and Li Chongtian looked at Nangong Lei at the same time. Nangong Lei squinted and said, "In a few days, there will be news coming in the next few days." What happened in Wulong Valley? The letter sent out by Longshan, the letter sent by the Nangong army to the Fireglass City, had not reached the Fireglass City yet. No matter how fast they were, they wouldn't be as desperate as Long Fei. Long Fei's leg almost broke from running. Zhuge Tianlong laughed and said, "Clan Elder, then what do we need to do now?" The black-robed elder laughed coldly. Long Fei has returned with a huge dragon. We are worried about him. The Nangong imperial clan is even more worried. Since the establishment of the Long family, it has been the greatest danger for the Nangong imperial clan. All you have to do is to do your best to impeach the Long family in the imperial court. Regardless of whether it works or not, the royal family will definitely stand on your side. Other than these, we'll have to wait. The old man in black slowly said, We are just waiting for the Nangong imperial clan situation. Nangong lay clenched both his fists tightly and thought, Just you wait, Long Fei, I will definitely tear you into 10,000 pieces. Fireglass City, branch of the Heaven Sect. Dongfang Jian was raging. Just a moment ago, when he returned from the Duke Palace, he was looked down by Nangong Yen to the point that he couldn't even lift his head up. He was very angry. In front of his beloved, he was stomped into that state by Long Fei. The killing intent in his heart soared to the heavens. He was very Long Fei, and he hated him to the extreme. But right now, he did not dare look for Long Fei because of the huge dragon. However, he had his ways to deal with Long Fei. They were Lu Luoxi and the other two. Xiao Changfeng stood behind Dongfang Jian and said in a low voice, Young master, don't be angry. He was Dongfang Xiong's disciple. Dongfang Xiong was Dongfang Jian's father and vice sect master of the Heaven Sect. Humph! Dongfang Jian coldly snorted, stared at Lu Luoxi and the other two, and said, You truly have the guts to intervene in local affairs. Xiao Changfeng, according to the sect's rules, how are you going to punish me? Xiao Changfeng immediately said, 50 lashes. All right, the three of you are inner court disciples. You know the law and have committed crimes that increase by 1 grade. Each of you will be sentenced to 100 lashes. Dongfang Jian's eyes became bloodshot, and he shouted immediately. Xiao Tiantian was not convinced. He said, Dongfang Jian, didn't you also interfere in the matters of the Duke Nangong Palace and colluded with that slut Nangong Yen? You didn't violate the clan rules, did you? Yi Zian also said, Are you from the law enforcement hall? What qualifications do you have to punish us? Dongfang Jian sneered and said, I didn't do that, right? Elder Xiao does. He is the person in charge here, and his words are an order. Elder Xiao, should they be punished? Xiao Changfeng immediately said, Yes, http. / Dongfang Jian asked again, Have I violated the sect rules? Xiao Changfeng continued, No. Dongfang Jian laughed out loud and said, 3 or 4 pills, you all heard it right? Elder Xiao, hurry up and use your punishment. Do you need me to teach you? Chapter 14. Qing Cheng and Xian reward and support. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Long family in a thatched courtyard. Long family in a thatched courtyard. Now that Long Fei had recovered his identity, he did not change his location. It was quiet in the back mountain. He was too lazy to switch to a large house. Furthermore, Jojo was enough to serve him. Long Fei cultivated in a technique. Toting skill, dragon salure technique. He knew in his heart. On the surface, the 3 Pillars family had calmed down, but they were waiting for the message from the Nangong residents. Once that letter arrived, the 3 powers would surely launch a violent counterattack. And Long Fei was also waiting. He was waiting for the Long family's army, and he also sent the leopard girl and Xiao Bai back to let her lead the Long family's army, and even changed some plans. This was a temporary change in his plan when he heard about the Long family situation at the city gate. Kill! Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh! * Long Fei slashed out, and the dragon chop's blade chi shot out the blood-colored atmosphere, and the flame blade chi fused together as one. A void appeared in midair. The blade aura was also overlaid by 205 slashes after the dragon salure technique had broken through to the third level. The overlapping numbers became more difficult. It was the same for Long Fei, but he needed to accumulate a large amount of proficiency, but the amount of proficiency S needed to level up to level 4 required 80,000 proficiency S, which was simply too difficult to cultivate. For the next 4 days, Long Fei practiced his techniques. The alchemy technique and the talisman technique also did not fall. Using the wild mountain devil's spirit blood to refine 3 high-quality talismans, the fire-type spiritual herbs that he brought back were pretty much done. Long Fei concocted some by himself and gave the rest to Long Zhanhai to process. And then again, the dragon blood of the ice-fire dragon had also allowed Long Zhanhai to break through the War Elder realm. The Long family was making all the preparations. At night, Long Fei stood in the courtyard and muttered, "It should be about time. This battle. We must slaughter the 3 pillars' spirit cleanly, so that they will never have a chance to rise again." Long Fei secretly clenched his fists. Whoosh! Xiaobai landed in the courtyard. "Master, we're back." At the entrance of the courtyard, the leopard girl also walked in. When she saw Long Fei in the courtyard, she immediately giggled and said, "Big brother Long Fei." Long Fei was overjoyed. The boulder in his heart also fell. "How have you been on the road?" The leopard girl laughed. All right, according to your orders, the Long family army disguised themselves as commoners and infiltrated the Fire Glass City. They are currently resting at various places, and if there is any sound from the Long family, they can rush over within 10 minutes to provide support. All right, Long Fei shouted excitedly. At this moment, he was completely relieved. Relying on him, Long Sanfeng and Long Zhanhai alone, it would be difficult for them to defend the Long family. Now that the 10,000 dragon army had arrived, there was no need to be afraid anymore. Now they just had to wait for 3 pillars and the rest to come looking for them, and then shut the door and beat them up. Jojo walked out and saw the leopard girl. "Young master, who is she?" "Such a good figure." Long Fei looked at the leopard girl again. There was nothing else on his body. This was not the primordial forest. He immediately said to Jojo, "Jojo, bring her a set of clean clothes to change into. Dress like this." If he walked out in broad daylight, he would definitely cause a traffic jam. The rate of return was absolutely 100%. The leopard girl's figure was extremely sexy, and the wild aura she gave off could enchant a person to death, making men feel an intense desire to conquer her. The leopard girl giggled and walked to Jojo's side, politely saying, "Hello, my name is Leopard Girl." Jojo also giggled. "My name is Jojo." The leopard girl said, "So, you are Sister Jojo?" Jojo was startled. "You know me?" When she said Sister Jojo, she was even more elated. The leopard girl said, "Big brother Long Fei, I often talk about you, and even when I'm dreaming, I remember your name." "Huh." Long Fei grinned and muttered, "When did I dream?" Jojo was even more elated. He pulled the leopard girl and walked inside, saying, "Don't bother with young master. I'll bring you to change your clothes." In the room. "Your chest is so big. Wow, your figure is too good. Did the young master do anything to you?" "No," Jojo exclaimed. "Is he even a man? Can he even endure this? I really didn't think that young master's mental strength would be so strong." The 2 girls chatted merrily. Long Fei started to wonder in the courtyard. Every so often, Shadow would join the chat. Now, he finally knew what it meant by 3 women in a play. If they didn't have a good chat, it was more than just a play. The entire stage was going to be played by them. Sigh. Long Fei still wanted to ask more about the Long family's army, but it looked like he had no way of asking. Looking at the 3 people who were chatting passionately, Long Fei smiled and swiftly rushed to his grandfather's courtyard. All right, Nan Gong Lei shouted excitedly. His face flushed red. He said, "That's great. Nan Gong Jun has achieved complete victory. There are no longer any Long family army in this world." Ha ha ha. Without the Long family's army, the Long family won't have a last resort. Long Fei, I want to see how you can act so arrogantly. Nan Gong Lei was very excited. Taking out the letter Nan Gong Kun wrote himself. He firmly believed it. He could not help but feel excited when he thought of how the army that was currently stationed at the Wulong Valley was his Nangong army. In the lobby, Zhuge Tian and Li Chongtian also became happy, but their hearts turned cold. The Long family's army had already been annihilated by the Nangong imperial clan. In that case, the power of the Nangong imperial clan was much stronger than before. Even without an expert from the War Master Ream, he could not be underestimated. The black-robed elder smiled slightly and said, "Your Highness, the chance has come." Nangong Lei immediately asked, "Teacher, what plans do you have?" The black-robed old man rolled his eyes and said, "There are still 10 days before the banquet of Forbidden Peak. At that time, the imperial family will definitely invite the young talents of the Fireglass City, and Long Fei will definitely be among them. When Long Fei leaves, the gigantic dragon will naturally leave with him. Then the only ones left in the Long family are Long Sanfeng and Long Zhanhai, the two severely injured people, and the dragon family's trash half-disciples. At that time, Nangong Lei laughed. Zhuge Tianlong and Li Chongtian also laughed, and both of them thought to themselves, "This person is too sinister." Nangong Lei laughed. "Once Long Fei leaves, the Long family's defenses will become empty. I don't believe that I can't kill the Long family." Immediately, Nangong Lei shouted, "Men!" A guard walked in. Nangong Lei said, "Ride on my Fergana horse and head to the headquarters of the Nangong army, and have him bring all the 10,000 over Nangong army over to Fireglass City. As for General Nangong Kun, let him stay put, and just stay in Dragon Mountain Valley." Nangong Lei thought for a while. The Long family had just been recruited, so their morale was definitely not stable. At this time, Nangong Kun had to guard Dragon Valley, just in case. Table of contents. "Yes, sir." The guard took Nangong Lei's weapon talisman and left anxiously. Nangong Lei laughed. "This is called double insurance. This time I will definitely trample the Long family to death. I want to avenge my father's death." The moment Nangong Bing arrives, "Long Fei, your time of death is up." "Thank you, all brothers. Thank you for your rewards. Thank you for saving today. Chapter 10 plus Chapter 5. Tomorrow we will continue Chapter 10. The better the subscription, the more updates there will be, so I'll have to ask my brothers to come and buy it. Thank you very much. 8_8419/2356490. Young Master, as you expected, Nangong Lei sent people to the Nangong Army headquarters. It should be to send people from the main camp back to Fireglass City to deal with our Long family. Young Master, as you expected, Nangong Lei sent people to the Nangong Army headquarters. It should be to send people from the main camp back to Fireglass City to deal with our Long family. Long Shan had been camouflaging himself in front of the doors to the Nangong Imperial Manor. The moment he saw the Fergana horse, he immediately understood and returned to report to Xiang Longfei. Long Fei's mouth drew back and muttered, "Seems like Nangong Lei will not make his move anytime soon. He is waiting for Nangong Jun." If that's the case, his brain was working really fast. And then Long Fei's eyes were startled, and he muttered, "Banquet of Forbidden Peak. They must want to take action on that day." Long Fei laughed coldly and said, "Nangong Lei, you are truly treacherous. You want to make a move after I leave the Long family and take all the profits with one hand? Ha ha! Long Fei immediately said, Long Shan, go back to Dragon Mountain Valley. As long as the Nangong army camp makes the slightest movement and takes over the headquarters of the Nangong residents, after they leave, I will make sure that Nangong Lei has no chance of turning the situation around. The bottom of the iceberg. Let's see who is going to draw their salary then. Long Shan immediately said, I'll go right now. Finished. Long Fei walked toward his grandfather's courtyard once again. Boom. Boom, boom. A burst of power exploded from Long Sanfeng's body. The stronger power merged into his body, and the aura on his body became even stronger. Long Fei said excitedly, Congratulations, grandfather. You've broken through again. Long Sanfeng was also incomparably excited. In just a short span of 4 days, he broke through once again and said, Xiao Fei, thank you so much for your dragon blood. Long Zhanhai also walked in and said with a flushed face, Father, you also broke through? Ha ha ha. I just had a breakthrough in level 2 War Elder. Xiao Fei, I really have to thank you for bringing that huge dragon back. Long Zhanhai said happily, There are already 10 disciples of the Long family that have broken through the War Chief realm. All of this was thanks to the dragon blood of ice and fire. To the Long family, dragon blood was like a precious treasure. Long Fei was incomparably happy in his heart. Seeing his grandfather and uncle make a breakthrough, the smile on his face was incomparably happy. Everything that happened was worth it. For the clan, Long Fei could do anything, because he was a member of the Long family. And then, Long Fei said, Grandfather, Uncle, it just so happens that you are all here. I have some things to say to you next, and I have never told you about them because I'm afraid that it will affect your cultivation. Now that you have broken through, I will have to tell you. Long Fei told him about what had happened in Dragon Mountain Valley. The demon army invaded, and Xiao Wudi was killed. The Long family had suffered heavy casualties. Now, they only had around 20,000 left. The matter of Long Lei's betrayal and Nangong Kuan's 30,000-strong army being beheaded was narrated one by one. Long Fei did not say these things at the beginning because he was afraid they would affect their cultivation. What? Long Lei betrayed us. Long Sanfeng's eyes became angry, and a burst of dragon aura burst out from his body. Clenching both of his fists tightly, he said, I never expected him to rebel. Long Zhanhai said, Nangong Kuan's 30,000-strong army was killed, 100,000 demon army were defeated. Xiao Wudi was killed. Xiao Fei, all of this was done by you? Long Fei laughed foolishly. It's all because of everyone. Without him, the Long family army no longer existed. Long Sanfeng let out a heavy breath, looked at Long Fei, and said sincerely, Xiao Fei, it's been hard on you. They could understand how hard it was. The dignified Long family patriarch didn't do anything. He looked at Long Fei and said, Xiao Fei, just hand over the Long family's banner too. Without waiting for him to finish speaking, Long Fei immediately said, Grandfather, Uncle, I really cannot bear the burden of the Long family's banner. Moreover, I like freedom. He really didn't want to be tied down. What he pursued was the peak of martial arts. What he pursued was the strongest king. As for managing the Long family, he really didn't have the slightest interest in it. This was the other reason why he had been so focused on making the Long family rise to prominence, making his grandfather and eldest uncle stronger. Now that they had become stronger, Long Fei could easily be a popinjay. Long Fei continued, Uncle, the matter of carrying the banner is none other than you. Don't force me any more. Without waiting for them to refute, Long Fei immediately changed the topic and said, I received the news that Nangong Lei is going to send the army of Nangong headquarters back to the Fire Glass City. He should be here to deal with our Long family. However, you don't need to worry. Just this morning, the 10,000 steel cavalry of the Long family have already secretly returned to the Fireglass City and are guarding around our Long family. As long as the Nangong army appears, we will cripple them. Then it's over. Once the Nangong army is withdrawn, the other 10,000 dragons that are stationed in the valley will occupy this headquarters. The Nangong army will be stripped of everything. Long Sanfeng and Long Zhanhai stared blankly at Long Fei. Was this still a 16-year-old youth? This was something that a 16-year-old youth could think of. He was definitely a military genius. Everything was under his control. They don't have to do anything. Long Sanfeng was shocked. He looked at Long Fei, who was a little unfamiliar, but the Long Fei in front of him was his beloved grandson. He was extremely excited in his heart. Long Zhanhai was about to worship Long Fei. How wonderful! However, Long Zhanhai's brows twitched and said, "Using an army to enter the Fireglass City is something huge. If the Nangong imperial family were to find out about this, it would cause their heads to fall off." "Ha ha!" Long Zhanhai said excitedly. "I will meet Nangong Huan's secret and let him know that Nangong Lei has secretly dispatched troops to the Fireglass City. If that's the case, I estimate that Nangong Lei's army will be stopped before they reach the Fireglass City." Long Fei trembled slightly. He did not think of this, and said, "Big Uncle is truly brilliant. To be able to kill by borrowing a knife, this move is too cool." Ha ha ha, ha ha ha, ha ha ha. The three of them burst out laughing at the same time. Long Sanfeng asked his last question. "Xiao Fei, can you confirm when they will attack the Long family?" Long Fei said, "If my guess is not wrong, it should be the day when the banquet of Forbidden Peak was here. They are still somewhat afraid of the ice and fire draconic beast, so they decided to make their move when I'm not at the Long family's side." "All right. Nangong Lei, this time I will make you unable to return." Long Zhaofeng's eyes were filled with rage as his body began to emit a domineering aura. The next few days were incomparably peaceful, the calm before the storm. The Emperor's Palace, the Holy Dragon Mansion Zhuge, and the Li martial arts sect didn't make a single move. Even when the outside world came, they were all stunned by the Long family. However, #half/float* life. They knew very well that they were waiting for the arrival of the Nangong army, and also waiting for the arrival of the banquet of Forbidden Peak. Everything was so calm. This time, Nangong Lei was confident. He was extremely confident he must take down the Long family and behead Long Fei. Second day of Berserk, Chapter 1, 8_8419/2356491. These few days, other than cultivating his technique, Long Fei was also constantly studying his auxiliary method, symbol technique, alchemy technique, and also refining techniques. Regarding the refining techniques, he had already fused the fire essence to the 9th level. Basically, every time he forged a weapon, as long as it was successful, it would be a top-grade weapon with a fire element in it. In such a long time, Long Fei had not tried refining. And because there are no conditions here, there were more things to be prepared to refine. And Long Fei did not need any weapons right now either. We'll talk about it after the banquet of Forbidden Peak. "Jojo, I'm going out," Long Fei said. Jojo only let out an "oh" and didn't seem to care about him at all. It used to be completely different. Ever since the leopard girl came, the two of them had become one. It was as if he had become an electric light bulb without any feeling of existence. Sigh. Long Fei sighed. What world is it? He smiled and walked towards the main street. Recently, his alchemy needed some special spirit grasses, especially the true pill. He wanted to improve them, as 500 true breath was not enough for him right now. He had coincidentally gathered a large pile of fire-attribute spiritual herbs in the great desolate mountain range. If he added them into the mix, it might cause an even stronger chemical reaction. Half an hour later, Long Fei came to the Fengyuan Merchant Union. It had been 2 months since he had come here, and thinking back to what Lu Feng had said to him the last time, he couldn't help but think of one person, Fu Xishan, the former master of the Fengyuan Merchant Union. Long Fei owed her a lot. If the true pill was successfully improved, he wanted to give it to the Fengyuan Merchant Union as a repayment to her. When Zhao Er saw Long Fei, he was shocked. "Young Master Long is here. Young Master Long is here." At this moment, the voice of the newly appointed pavilion master Fu Tianxiu shook as he let out a heavy cough. Zhao Er immediately did not dare to make a sound, as he was extremely afraid. Long Fei walked into the shop and asked, "Zhao Er, where is Elder Lu?" Fu Tianxiu said coldly, "Lu Feng is at the alchemy in the backyard. If you have anything you want to say it to me." His eyes were cold. Moreover, his eyes were filled with disdain. Long Fei looked at the scene in his heart and was a little displeased, saying, "I only wish to speak with Elder Lu about my matters. I am not interested in the others." It's true that Elder Lu is an alchemy master, but he never needed his own alchemy. Why does he need alchemy now? It must be because the guy in front of us is wearing small shoes. Fu Tianxiu snorted and said, "Since you have no interest, then please leave the Fengyuan Merchant Union." Long Fei's forehead turned sinister. Fu Tianxiu sneered, "What? Still not leaving? Do you want me to let the dogs drive you away?" Cluck, cluck. Long Fei clenched his fists tightly, feeling even more unhappy. If it wasn't for the fact that Lu Feng and Fu Xishan had been good to him, he would have instantly slapped the self-righteous fellow in front of him until he couldn't find his bearings. Huff! Long Fei's fist loosened, and he turned to leave. But right at that moment, Fu Tianxiu coldly said, "Leave the purple gold membership card on you. People like you are not qualified to have the purple gold membership card of the Fengyuan Merchant Union." Humph! I really wonder what this brainless woman, Fu Xishan, is doing. Is there something wrong with your head? Suddenly, Long Fei disappeared in place. Pa! The slap fiercely smashed down, directly slapping Fu Tianxiu down from the stairs. The 5 finger marks could clearly be seen. Both of his incisors were dropped, and his mouth was filled with fresh blood. Long Fei condescendingly stood in front of him and said coldly, "It doesn't matter if you say I'm fine, but you can't say Fu Xishan." Fu Xishan was his benefactor. Long Fei would never allow anyone to insult his benefactor. Fu Tianxiu's eyes looked like it was spitting fire, spitting out blood. He crawled up and shouted, "Long Fei, I think you're tired of living. How dare you attack me? Do you know who I am?" Yet another instant. Pa! With a flip of his hand, Fu Tianxiu fell onto the ground again as 2 more teeth popped out from his mouth. It made him cry out in pain. Long Fei squatted down, stared coldly at Fu Tianxiu with eyes filled with killing intent, and said, "I don't care who you are, but if I get angry, I will kill him even if it means death." It was eerie and terrifying. Fu Tianxiu was so scared that his face paled and his body trembled nonstop. He also shouted loudly, black wind, come out and beat this trash who doesn't know his limits out of here." Trash! Long Fei slowly stood up. "Fuck you!" He kicked out explosively. Fu Tianxiu was immediately kicked away. "Don't King take my face so seriously." The rage raged. Zhao Er, who was on the counter, was extremely excited and could not help but want to cheer for Long Fei. Lu Feng hurriedly ran out of the pill room. Seeing the half-dead Fu Tianxiu on the ground and seeing Long Fei again, he immediately pulled Long Fei and said, He's our newly appointed pavilion master. Long Fei, don't do anything rash. I don't care who he is. If it wasn't for you, I would have already twisted my head off. Damn it. Long Fei once again cursed and said in an extremely displeased tone. Fu Tianxiu crawled up from the ground, his mouth full of blood spitting out. He shouted loudly, Black wind, black wind, black wind. Where did you die? After calling for a long time, no one came out. The old man from the black wind hid in the shadows. The reason why he did not make a move was because Fu Tianxiu deserved to be beaten up. Lu Feng immediately said, Long Fei is different now. It's better to restrain himself. After all, he is the pavilion master of the Fengyuan Merchant Union and is still Yun Shan's uncle in name. Is this trash worthy to be Yun Shan's uncle? Long Fei said in disdain. Lu Feng's brows tightened, and he lowered his voice. Let's not talk about this anymore. Why are you looking for me? Although Long Fei was furious if he had to do something about coming to the Fengyuan Merchant Union, he said, I want to improve some true pill, but I have a few spiritual herbs. Come here and ask if you have any. What do you need? Lu Feng asked, his heart secretly shocked. Improved true pill? Can the pill be improved? Others didn't believe it, but he was Long Fei, so Lu Feng didn't dare to not believe it. Anyone with common sense would know that pills could not be improved on simply by saying so. The appearance of every type of pill was a result of hundreds or even thousands of attempts to refine it. Improved pill? This was absolutely impossible. Long Fei then explained the missing spirit grasses. Lu Feng frowned and said, You need these spirit grasses. They are all extremely strong spirit grasses, and ordinary alchemy masters cannot control them. Are you sure you want these? It was also at this time Fu Tianxiu stood up once again and said disdainfully, Even trash like you want to improve the medicinal pellets, or are you the true pill of our Fu family? Sister-in-law, 1-/ plus health, strongest upgrade system. Why aren't you paying to take care of yourself? What the hell are you? Long Fei's eyes were filled with anger. Lu Feng instantly grabbed onto Long Fei tightly. He knew Long Fei's temper. If he got really angry, Fu Tianxiu would be beaten to death. If Fu Tianxiu died, the Long family would be in big trouble. Chapter 28_8419/2356492. The Fengyuan Merchant Union's power was enormous, and its business was spread throughout the entire Tianwu continent. Moreover, it was guarded by countless experts. Compared to the Fengyuan Merchant Union, the Long family was like an ant or an elephant. The Fengyuan Merchant Union's power was enormous, and its business was spread throughout the entire Tianwu continent. Moreover, it was guarded by countless experts. Compared to the Fengyuan Merchant Union, the Long family was like an ant or an elephant. He couldn't afford to offend him. Long Fei said to Lu Feng, Elder Lu, you can rest assured that I won't kill him. Looking at Long Fei's serious expression, Lu Feng slowly let go of his hand. Long Fei, don't do anything stupid. Long Fei smiled faintly, walked to Fu Tianxiu's side, and said, What if I can improve true pill? Fu Tianxiu sneered. Brat, if you can improve the true pill, I will kowtow to you and admit my wrongs. But what if you can't? Improved pill? Ha ha ha. Fu Tianxiu laughed in his heart, then laughed out wildly. There really is such a fool in this world. Even alchemy masters are unable to improve medicinal pellets just with him? Or is it improving my Fu family's top secret medicine? True pill? This is so funny. In his eyes, Long Fei was just a fool who did not know his place, an arrogant trash. A faint sneer still hung on Long Fei's face, and he said, What do you think we should do? Fu Tianxiu said coldly, Kneel down and kowtow for your ancestor and hand over your purple gold card to me. From today onwards, you are not allowed to take even half a step into the Fengyuan Merchant Union, and even more so, you are not allowed to have any connections with Fushishan. Otherwise, the Fengyuan Merchant Union will punish your Long family. The result of the punishment is the destruction of your Long family. The more she spoke, the colder Fu Tianqiu's voice became. 2 slaps and 2 stomps of anger churned within his heart. He would definitely not let Long Fei off. Long Fei clenched his fists and sneered. Fine. Lu Feng didn't even have the time to stop him, and said, Long Fei, you have to consider this carefully. This is a modified pellet, not a refined pellet. Without waiting for him to finish speaking, Fu Tianqiu glared and shouted at Lu Feng, Scram back to the alchemy. Lu Feng's eyes darkened. He gritted his teeth. Fu Tianqiu immediately followed. What? Didn't you hear what I said? Shall I say it again? I shout you, scram, return, go, refine, and refine. Each and every word was extremely vicious, especially the one scram. Lu Feng was really unhappy. Facing Lu Feng like this, Long Fei felt even more unhappy, and fury filled his eyes. Fu Tianqiu laughed. I will teach my servants a lesson. It's not your turn to interfere. Lu Feng, you old thing, do you want to disobey my orders? Don't forget, you're just a dog from my Fu family. Cluck, 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 cluck. Long Fei's joints exploded. His killing intent surged. It was also at this time. Black Wind silently walked out and stood behind Fu Tianqiu. He was blaming himself for protecting the pavilion master, and he could feel the killing intent coming from Long Fei's body. Lu Feng also pulled Long Fei back and said, Long Fei, don't be angry because of me. It's not worth it. Finished. Lu Feng said, I'm going to the alchemy. Fu Tianqiu laughed coldly. That's more like it. To be a dog, one must have the awareness to be a dog. To be a well-behaved dog. Ha ha ha. Long Fei was truly unhappy. Very unhappy. Lu Feng had been good to him, but now, I actually can't help him. As Long Fei watched him walk into the rear courtyard, his heart tightened. Add another condition. Fu Tianqiu laughed coldly and said complacently, What condition? Long Fei said, I want Elder Lu. Fu Tianqiu was startled and then immediately laughed out loud. I didn't think that you would be interested in a dog. With that, his voice also changed as he said, Sure. However, I also have a condition that you have to improve your true pill S within 3 days. Improving pills was already an extremely difficult thing to do. It was almost impossible. And now there was a limit of 3 days, which was even more impossible. Long Fei himself was not confident either. He only felt that it was possible to improve it, but he needed to keep trying. Looking at Fu Tianqiu's pleased expression, Long Fei coldly replied, All right, just 3 days. Ha ha ha. Fu Tianqiu began to laugh loudly. He looked at Long Fei and said, Brat, prepare to kneel down and kowtow to me. Ha ha ha. And then Fu Tianqiu warned Zhao Er, Give him all the spirit herbs he wants, but double the price. Long Fei looked at him. Fu Tianqiu laughed. Are you unhappy? You don't accept this? If you're not satisfied, then go to another house to buy some spiritual herbs. Only my Fengyuan Merchant Union has the spiritual herbs you want. I want to double the price. Long Fei really wanted to smash his head apart with a punch. However, he couldn't, at least not now, because he wasn't strong enough. After killing him, the Fengyuan Merchant Union would send down another person. And when that happened, the Long family would face the suppression from the Fengyuan Merchant Union, and the Fengyuan Merchant Union's power would be like a giant warship, untouchable to him. Strong. Still not strong enough. Fury overflowed within Long Fei's heart as he silently said in his heart, I will definitely make you kneel in front of me I definitely will. After taking the spirit herbs and paying double the price, Long Fei walked towards his home. Feng Yuan Merchant Union. Fu Tianxiu grabbed a teacup and smashed it on Black Wind's head as he turned around. Where were you when I called you? Where were you when Lousy was beaten up? Huh. Bastard, from today onwards, your service time with that old dog Lu Feng will increase by 10 years. This is your punishment. Fu Tianxiu stared at the expressionless Black Wind and said, Are you unconvinced? Huh. Black Wind lowered his head and said, I don't dare. If you don't dare, then scram to the side. You dog. Fu Tianxiu said harshly as he walked out of the Feng Yuan Merchant Union, thinking to himself, All of you just wait for me. I don't believe you? Fu Tianxiu was fearless. This was because he had the ability to act recklessly. He held a high position in the Feng Yuan Merchant Union, he had great authority, and in the Fire Glass City, he did not only belong to just this alchemy pavilion, there were also many other businesses present, some of which Fu Shishan had not even known about before. This time, he would not let Long Fei go. Very soon, in less than half a day's time, half of the Fire Glass City knew about the bet between Long Fei and Fu Tianxiu. Everyone began to discuss amongst themselves. This news was extremely beneficial to the Nangong Imperial clan. The enemy of the enemy was a friend. Nangong Lei asked with doubt in his heart, Does Long Fei know alchemy? The old butler shook his head and said, I have never heard of it. While Long Zhanwu was still alive, there was once news that Long Fei was in the alchemy. Then, how can he bet with Fu Tianxiu? Or an improved pill? Nangong Lei was puzzled. He was completely unable to understand Long Fei at all. And then equals half carrot float, hashtag life, carrot. He suddenly thought of someone, teacher. The black-robed old man was the master of the Heaven sect. Perhaps. Nangong Lei's mouth curved up, revealing a gloomy and cold smile. He muttered, I have to think of a way to do some stuff on the alchemy and rub Long Fei's spirit. Chapter 38_8419/2356493. Ding. Ding. Refinery failure. Ding. Refinery failure. In the Long family's thatched courtyard at the back of the mountain, Long Fei had been researching ways to improve True Pill ever since he returned from the Feng Yuan Merchant Union and was trying to improve it using spirit herbs. Just as Lu Feng had said, the spirit grass was just too strong and could not be controlled. No way. No way. Still not. Every time he failed, Long Fei would stop to ponder over it. He would continuously simulate it in his head and shake his head time and time again. How can I control it? It was really difficult. Improving a pill was not about refining it. It was tens of times more difficult than refining it. Even refining a normal true pill only had a 50% chance of success. Increasing the success rate of the true breath, which had been raised in the true pill, was simply too difficult. For the entire day, Long Fei was defeated. This also allowed his alchemy to rise to the 8th level of the yellow rank. Big brother Long Fei, eat something. The leopard girl walked up and watched as Long Fei stayed by the side of the pill furnace for the entire day. Long Fei smiled faintly and said, You guys go ahead, I'm not hungry. And then the space between his eyebrows tightened, and he once again fused and controlled the world with the spiritual herbs. Ding! Refinery failure. Ding! Refinery failure. He continued to fail. Long Fei tried more than 100 methods, but they were still ineffective. He was still unable to completely control the powerful spirit force impact from the spirit grass. Is it really impossible? Behind him were 3 women, Jojo, the leopard girl, and the shadow in the darkness. Seeing Long Fei's predicament, they didn't know how to help him. They knew about the bet between Long Fei and Fu Qianxiu, and there were only 2 days left. If they couldn't reform it successfully, Long Fei would have to kneel in front of so many people and kowtow and apologize to Fu Qianxiu. Actually, Long Fei did not take any of these to heart. The two of them burst into laughter. The only person he was worried about was Elder Lu, slapping Fu Qianxiu's face was nothing. Long Fei still has a day and a half left. If you don't succeed in altering the medicinal pellets, once again kneel and admit your wrongs into the process of in front of everyone in the city. At that time, breath activated I would really like to see causing the spirit liquid to seep out from the spirit grass. The young master of the Long family kowtowed, and admitted his wrongs. This was no ordinary matter. He had completely this would have thought of the Long family's influence and had never thought of giving up. City. For if he made the right use of it, the Long family's reputation would be greatly tarnished even a second. To Nangong throughout the entire as long as it was something that could strike at the Long family, no matter how big the matter, he would still participate. Merchant Union Fu Qianxiu smiled and said, Duke Nangong smiled slightly. Don't worry. And said, I've asked the Earth Stage 9th rank I have to thank Pavilion Master Fu. And he said that Fu even Heaven Stage Alchemy Masters should not just a mere trash improving like the true pill. Teaching him a lesson still a day and a half left. As lifting a hand. He definitely won't succeed. He couldn't guarantee anything else. However, he dared to guarantee the true pill. No one knew true pill better than the Fu family. And the current true pill had already reached the perfect stage. No one has anything to improve on. Long Fei would definitely lose. Nangong Lei laughed and said, Pavilion Master Fu, for safety's sake, I have an alchemy grandmaster here. At that time, he can verify it himself and let him compete with Long Fei. This will prevent Long Fei from cheating. He had already discussed this matter with the black-robed old man. Fu Qianxiu laughed. Since Duke Nangong is so thoughtful, then when the time comes, I shall ask your palace's alchemy grandmaster to be the judge. He was no fool. Of course they knew who the alchemy grandmaster in Nangong Lei's home was. It was definitely an expert from the Heaven sect. He had to give her some face. Nangong Lei laughed. This time, I must make Long Fei kneel on the ground and not get up. Ha ha ha. Fu Qianxiu also laughed loudly and said, I think exactly the same as your highness. Ha ha ha. The Nangong imperial clan had yet to arrive. Nangong Lei would never miss a chance to suppress the Long family. After returning to the Duke Palace, Nangong Lei reported to the black-robed old man. The old man in black said lightly, I understand. I will go into closed-door training to prepare. Don't bother me if there's nothing else. Yes, teacher. Nangong Lei and Dongfang Jian were waiting for him in the courtyard. Nangong Yen stepped forward and said, Father, I want to participate in the alchemy competition as well. No way. Nangong Lei did not have any leeway to negotiate and said, There are only 5 days left to the banquet of Forbidden Peak, and in these 5 days, you must improve your cultivation further and obtain the qualifications to enter the Heaven sect. Dongfang Jian said, Uncle, my father has already said that little sister Yen does not need to take the examination to enter the Heaven sect. With my father's authority, who would dare to say anything? Nangong, Yen already had the inner sect disciple badge. He did not even need to take the examination to become a disciple of the Heaven sect, and muttered, That's right. Nangong Lei said, Banquet of Forbidden Peak, just because you are the champion, other people have lost a chance. Don't you understand this principle? From now on, Dongfang Jian, you have to make her reach the 5th layer of the Heavenly Sword technique. You have to shock everyone in Banquet of Forbidden Peak with one move, understand? Dongfang Jian hugged both of his hands and said, Don't worry, uncle. I will definitely give my all to help little sister Yen. Little sister Yen, let's go train in the sword. Even in his dreams, Nangong Yen dreamt of seeing Long Fei kneel and kowtow, but for Banquet of Forbidden Peak's sake, she endured it. Moreover, because he was stomped on by Long Fei the other time at the Long family. Dongfang Jian had completely disregarded the sect rules and passed down to her the sky-level sword technique, heavenly illusion sword art to her. Once this sword technique reached the Mahayana realm, even Long Fei would not be a match for it. Her current cultivation had already broken through to the second level of the war chief, and was already above Long Fei. With this set of heaven-ranked sword technique, she would definitely be able to defeat Long Fei. Long Fei, just you wait. Baidu's search. Half afloat banquet of Forbidden Peak will be the day of your death. I will make you wish you were dead. Nangong, Yen said sinisterly in her heart. She already hated Long Fei to the bones. Even if she couldn't, there was still Dongfang Jian. This time, he wouldn't be as shocked as last time. He definitely wouldn't be. Chapter 48_8419/2356494. Other than Nangong Yen, who was secretly cultivating. Other than Nangong Yen, who was secretly cultivating. Zhuge Tianlong from the divine Zhuge Manor and a few other talented disciples of the Zhuge family were also cultivating in seclusion. Li martial arts sects Li Yi. The geniuses in Fire Glass City were all cultivating in seclusion for the banquet of Forbidden Peak this time, and to gain the right to enter the Heaven Sect, to be able to receive a generous reward, be highly regarded by the Emperor, and even enter the Heaven Sect. This was a huge leap for any martial practitioner. He absolutely could not miss it. Of course, while the others were cultivating, Long Fei was trying his best to study the pill. For a good 2 days and 2 nights, Long Fei did not close his eyes. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for increasing his alchemy, currently at the 9th level of the yellow rank. F***CK. Long Fei cursed. I had thought that it would be a success. Huff. The last day, Long Fei exhaled. After failing for 2 days and 2 nights in a row, he had finally figured out some tricks. But it was only touching. Success was just as difficult. Long Sanfeng's room. Long Zhanhai frowned deeply, then said, Father, there is only 1 day left. Long Sanfeng said, Long Fei is too stubborn. He can't even pull 10 oxen back if he wants to. It's been 2 days and 2 nights, and he still hasn't rested, not eating a single meal. I'm really worried that he might not be able to take it. They were also worrying about the Long Fei and Fu Tianqiu's powder-making competition. In the history of the Long family, there had never been an alchemy master before, and some were low-level alchemy masters, to say nothing of great masters who could modify medicinal pellets. Long Zhanhai asked, if Long Fei loses, I must kneel down and kowtow to Fu Tianqiu in front of everyone in the city, admitting my wrongs. Without waiting for him to finish speaking, Long Sanfeng suddenly shouted, Who dares to make my son kneel? I, lunatic Long, want his life. He was instantly enraged. Long Zhanhai said, This matter is getting more and more heated up. Nangong Lei is the one pulling the strings from the back. If you make a move, this matter will be infinitely blown up, and at that time, our Long family's reputation will be known. Long Sanfeng's eyes stared, and he said, How much is reputation worth? Was it as expensive as Long Fei's knee? If you want Long Fei to kneel down, that will not do. I blame the Fengyuan Merchant Alliance for being so-called the Nangong residents. If you anger me, I will tear down the entire Nangong residence. Not like before, was now at the 2nd level of War Master, an existence at the peak of Fire Glass City. If they truly pissed him off, he would really do everything he could to cripple one of them. Long Sanfeng had a fiery temper and was extremely protective of his own. Other than that, if anyone dared to bully Long Fei, he would definitely beat them up to the point that they couldn't even crawl back up. Huff! Long Zhanhai secretly thought, I also need to prepare a bit. If anyone dares to make Long Fei kneel and kowtow and admit that he's wrong, Long Zhanhai, will be the first to take his life. He was going all out. Ha ha ha. Long Zhanhai can't sit still anymore. The Long family is beginning to make their move. The first thing Nangong Lei knew was that the disciples of the Long family were continuously being sent out. He had also sent someone to watch the Long family's gate 24 hours a day. Zhuge Tianlong laughed. This time, Long Fei will definitely fall headfirst. Ha ha. That's right, Li Chongtian laughed. In the entire history of the Long family, there has never been a person who knew alchemy, even if it was a divine dragon soldier. A trash like Long Fei, who only knows how to break pubes, still wants to change his alchemy. Not only that, but he wants to change his alchemy. Isn't that just courting death? Nangong Lei said confidently, "This time I will make Long Fei kneel on the ground and not be able to get up. I will make the Long family lose face." Ha ha ha. I can't wait. Me too, Long Fei. 8_8419/2356495. A large stage was built at the entrance of the Fengyuan Merchant Union. A large stage was built at the entrance of the Fengyuan Merchant Union. After Nangong Lei's hype for the past 3 days, the entire Fire Glass City knew about the bet between Long Fei and his family, which was in the process of improving the suicide pellet, the True Pill S. It caused a huge sensation. As soon as the sky brightened, the area outside the Fengyuan Merchant Union was filled with onlookers. I've never heard of an improved medicinal pill. Even a Grand Master level alchemy master would not be able to do it, right? What is Long Fei doing? Why would he even dare to bet with the Fengyuan Merchant Union on something like refining pills? He's too arrogant and conceited. That's right, there hasn't been any alchemy masters in the Long family. He actually wants to improve the top secret pellet True Pill of the Fu family. He's overestimating himself a little. I am afraid that today I will kneel in front of Fu Tianxiu and kowtow and admit my wrongs. Even if it is the Long family members who are facing the emperor, they do not need to kneel. Today, Long Fei will be kneeling in front of the Long family. Ha ha. The crowd whispered amongst themselves. Alchemy master. In the Tianwu continent, it was a very rare occupation. Alchemy masters were even more extraordinary existences. If they had grandmasters who could refine medicinal pellets, then this kind of alchemy master would be an extremely rare existence in the entire Tianwu continent. The Fu family's Fengyuan Merchant Union started with pills. The True Pill was researched and created by the ancestor of the Fu family's alchemy. After the improvement and perfection of countless life alchemy masters, after tens of thousands of years, the current True Pill has reached the perfect realm. There was no room for improvement. Moreover, there was no way to improve True Pill at all. In this battle, Long Fei was definitely going to lose. In the pavilion, Fu Tianxiu revealed a complacent smile. Listening to the discussions of the crowd, he said complacently, "Long Fei, just give me 2 slaps. Today I will make you kneel on the ground and not get up." Ha ha ha. It was a tremendous scene. Fu Tianxiu was extremely satisfied because this way, the influence of the Fengyuan Merchant Alliance would advance further during the powder-making competition conference. After changing into a gorgeous set of clothes, he walked down from the pavilion. Seeing the anxious face of Lu Feng, Fu Tianxiu could not help but sneer. "Lu Feng, you can't be hoping for Long Fei to win, right?" Lu Feng's body trembled slightly, but he did not say a word. Fu Tianxiu laughed coldly in disdain and said, "From the looks of it, you want the Fengyuan Merchant Union to lose?" Lu Feng immediately replied, "I don't dare." "Humph! What do you mean you don't dare?" You just want Long Fei to win so that you can leave the Fu clan, right? Fu Tianqiu coldly snorted. Don't even think about it in this lifetime. Improved true pill. Lu Feng, you dog of a servant, although useless, have the brand of the Fu clan's slave imprint on your body. You can forget about getting rid of the Fu clan's slave imprint for your entire life. Ha ha ha. Fu Tianqiu laughed complacently. Lu Feng clenched both his fists tightly. The mark that had been imprinted on his chest for more than 50 years started to ache faintly now. This was the deepest pain in his heart, and being mercilessly ripped apart by Fu Tianqiu was even more unbearable than taking his life. Actually, he also understood in his heart that Long Fei's alchemy was not bad, but it was impossible to improve any true pill. He knew that Long Fei would lose. But now, he hoped that Long Fei could win and take him away. Since Fu Shishan wasn't here, there was no point for him to stay here any longer. Walala! The doors to the Fengyuan Merchant Union opened, and Fu Tianqiu walked out. The entire audience was in an uproar. Pavilion Master Fu is out. Pavilion Master Fu is out. Pavilion Master Fu, may I ask, what are your thoughts on powder-making competition this time? Will Long Fei improve the true pill that your Fu family has researched? Pavilion Master Fu, if Long Fei loses, will he really kneel down in front of you? The people of the Long family don't even need to kneel before the emperor. I heard that Long Fei hasn't left his house for 3 days straight and has been researching alchemy. What if he succeeds? Will you honor your bet and kneel down before him? Just like the reporters in his previous life. Fu Tianqiu slightly smiled and said complacently, I only want to say one thing. Long Fei will definitely lose if he doesn't want to fulfill the promise of the bet. You all know the power of the Fengyuan Merchant Union. Killing the Long family is only a matter of time. Powder-making competition? The Fu family has never lost. He really had never lost before. The Fu family's research on pills was much more advanced. The Divine Marquis of Zhuge arrived. General Li has arrived. The Duke of Nangong has arrived. The 3 Pillars' boss appeared at the same time. 2 rows of bodyguards led the way, their voices resounding loudly, directly creating a path through the dense crowd of people. In the distance, Nangong Lei then stepped forward and said, Pavilion Master Fu. Fu Tianqiu also took a step forward and said, Duke Nangong. Nangong Lei said in a low voice, I received news that Long Fei had been in the alchemy for 3 days and 3 nights straight and had not succeeded a single time until last night. Fu Tianqiu laughed. Not just anyone can refine true pill. If it wasn't for that brainless woman, Fu Shishan, giving the pill formula to Long Fei, would a piece of trash like him actually think of refining a true pill? To still want to improve the true pill now, you truly overestimate yourself. Today, let's see how the people from the Long family kneel. Nangong Lei also became excited and said, Pavilion Master Fu, if he doesn't kneel, do you need my help? He was already prepared. Fu Tianqiu laughed faintly. Then I'll be troubling Duke Nangong. He was ready. Immediately, they looked at each other and laughed. The distinguished guest took a seat. The black-robed old man also silently sat in a corner. No one had noticed him, so he was extremely low-key. And then Fu Tianqiu stood on stage and shouted, Long Fei? Where's Long Fei? Time was up. Did he not dare to show himself? Didn't you act very arrogantly 3 days ago? Huh. He's now like a turtle who doesn't dare to come out. Is this how the Long family is like? Fu Tianqiu did not give any face at all. The crowd immediately began to discuss this. That's right. Why haven't the Long family appeared yet? From what I see, Long Fei should be afraid, kneeling before the entire city and making the Long family lose a lot of face. He definitely won't dare to come anymore. That's right, they are coming if they want to. Isn't it courting death to go against the Feng Yuan Merchant Alliance's powder-making competition? Sigh. I thought there would be a good show to watch today, but I'm afraid I won't be able to see it now. Amongst the crowd. Long Zhanhai frowned. He was extremely unhappy to hear Long Fei's words. At the same time, a disciple of the Long family reported, Patriarch, we did not see young Patriarch Long Fei. There is no one in the courtyard. Long Zhanhai trembled slightly and muttered, What is Xiao Fei doing? Equals semi/floating life plus. On the street opposite the Fengyuan Merchant Union in the Hibiscus restaurant, Long Fei started to eat heartily. Hibiscus steamed buns are really delicious. Jojo, it's no wonder you like eating the steamed buns here so much. Jojo said anxiously. Young master, Fu Tianxiu is already clamoring on the stage. Are you still not going out? If he likes to scream, just let him scream a few more times. I haven't eaten my fill yet. Chapter 68_8419/2356496. Giant dragon. All the women were taken by him alone. I hate you. What the hell do you hate? I hate it. Why is it that the one sitting on the dragon's back isn't me? You, a fatty over 200 gene in weight, will definitely crush that dragon. Long Fei patted his fire and ice. Ice and fire fiercely rose into the sky until it disappeared, and then also entered Long Fei's mount space. Long Fei walked to Fu Tianxiu's side, looked at his wet crotch, and said, Yo, Pavilion Master Fu, you scared to the point of peeing? The leopard girl pinched her nose and said, Big brother Long Fei, you're still spitting out feces from fright. So smelly, so smelly. Long Fei shouted loudly. Pavilion Master Fu has been scared to the point of spitting out feces, to the point of spitting out feces. It's really smelly, Pavilion Master Fu. Did you eat feces last night? The leopard girl pulled Jojo and said, Sister Jojo, let's go quickly. This place is so smelly. Even such a big person was scared to the point of pooping. It's really unsanitary. Many people below the arena burst into laughter. I was scared shitless. Ha ha ha. The Fengyuan Merchant Union is too cowardly. http:// laughing my ass off. Fu Tianxiu's eyes were blazing with fire, as if he had been slapped ruthlessly by Long Fei. His eyes locked onto Long Fei and said while grinding his teeth, Long Fei, I will let you have an easy time later. Prepare to die. Right now, he wanted to kill Long Fei. Chapter 78_8419/2356497. It was as if he was a cruel person with bone marrow. It was as if he was a cruel person with bone marrow. Fu Tianxiu wanted to kill Long Fei immediately, but he couldn't. He wanted Long Fei to never be able to recover. He wanted to kneel and admit his wrongs in front of everyone, and he wanted to step on Long Fei's head and slap his face before Long Fei. Only by doing this would he be able to vent the anger in his heart. His heart was filled with incomparable rage. Fu Tianxiu stood up, and feces and urine continued to flow from under his pants, giving off a foul stench. Long Fei laughed and said, Pavilion Master Fu, your feces are flowing out. Ha ha ha. Fu Tianxiu's eyes turned sinister. The muscles at the corner of his eyes twitched, and he said coldly, Laugh, laugh, you'll cry later. And then Fu Tianxiu said coldly, Long Fei, 3 days are up. Where is your improved true pill? Take it out. Long Fei pinched his nose. I'm not talking to a person whose crotch was still shitting. Take a look, you see, and see for yourself. Another pile of it is flowing out. Poochie. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Everyone below the arena was overturned with laughter. Many people looked at the bottom of Fu Tianqiu's trousers, where a pile of feces had really fallen. It was simply too funny. You. Fu Tianqiu glared at Long Fei and said, I ask you. Without waiting for him to finish speaking, Long Fei immediately interrupted him and said, I won't be talking to a person with a butt and poop. Pavilion Master Fu, if you're scared to the point of pooping, you'll be scared to the point of pooping. Oh no! Another one has fallen out. Long Fei immediately retreated a few steps and said with a sneer in his heart, weren't you yelling just now fiercely? What the F***? Are you calling me that again? Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Everyone below the stage was laughing. Fu Tianqiu had lost all his face. The Fengyuan Merchant Union had also lost a lot of face. The anger in Fu Tianqiu's heart nearly burned his head to ashes as he gnashed his teeth so hard that they nearly broke. He flung his sleeves and heavily left, saying, Long Fei, just you wait. With that, he left the scene and quickly ran back to the Fengyuan Merchant Union. This was one of his favorite clothes. After he walked down the stage, Long Fei said loudly, Fu Tianqiu, why are you still not coming out? Are you afraid? If you are afraid, kneel down and call me father. Daddy will let you go. Get over here right now. Why aren't you out yet? Are you going to change or run to the latrine to eat **T? Fu Tianqiu was so angry that smoke was coming out from his head. He really wanted to rush up the stage and give Long Fei a big slap, but his pants were still oozing out poop. He couldn't even smell it anymore. If he didn't change it, he would be smelly to death. Long Fei was even more joyous as he scolded, You better hurry up and **King fight. If you don't, then you can leave. Suddenly, the two black figures descended. The two of them were War Elder Realm Rankers, standing on the left and right of Long Fei. Fu Tianqiu shouted loudly, Kneel! Long Fei continued to stare at him coldly. Fu Tianqiu laughed complacently and said, You won't kneel, right? Break both his legs. I want to see how hard the Long family's knees are. It was also at this time. Long Zhanhai suddenly shouted, Damn it, let's see who has the guts to do so. Boom! His voice sunk, and also instantly landed beside Long Fei as he said in a low voice, Xiao Fei, don't be afraid. If anyone dares to bully you, I'll kill them. Fu Tianqiu's forehead turned sinister as he stared coldly at Long Zhanhai and said, Long Zhanhai, you have to admit that you have lost, and if Long Fei loses, he has to fulfill the conditions of the bet. What about it? Do you want to stop me? He was not afraid. He did not have to be afraid of anyone in the Fire Glass City. Half of Fire Glass Dynasty's economic lifeline was controlled by the Fengyuan Merchant Union. It would be too easy for him to make a family disappear. Long Zhanhai smiled, slightly. Fu Tianqiu, take a look at this place. You want my Long family to kneel down and call you your ancestors? In my opinion, it really is a bunk next to the latrine pit, and it's not too far from death. Where are the Long family's disciples? Ha! The Long family disciples in the crowd shouted in unison, their voices shaking the sky. Long Zhanhai would never let Long Fei be bullied. Not even the slightest bit, not to mention kneeling down and admitting his mistake. At this moment, Nangong Lei was excited. The good show is about to begin. Chapter 88_8419/2356498. Nangong Lei was waiting for this exact moment. Nangong Lei was waiting for this exact moment. Long Zhanhai rushed out, and then Nangong Lei smiled slightly and said, What a great authority. The Long family is really too domineering and despotic. Even I can't stand to watch any longer. Long Zhanhai, it's only right that you admit defeat. If you really want to fight. The corner of Nangong Lei's mouth drew back, coldly laughed, and said, "Then I'll be taking care of this matter. Where are the Duke Palace's guards?" Ha! Immediately, the guards from the Nangong imperial clan rushed out from the crowd. Moreover, Zhuge Tianlong also sneered coldly. "Long Zhanhai, this is the Fireglass City, not your Long family. If you want to behave atrociously here, you aren't qualified. Where are the guards of the Divine Ho clan?" Swish, 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 swish. Then, another group of people rushed out. Li Chongtian was too arrogant and had to defeat his spirit today. If he were to kneel down and kowtow and call his father the ancestor of the Pavilion Master Fu, this matter would become nothing more than an understanding of the situation. If he did not kneel down and admit defeat, humph. Where are the guards of the general's estate? A large group of guards rushed out, surrounding the members of the Long family, Long Zhanhai, and the others completely. Nangong Lei laughed coldly. "More people? Ha ha ha. Long Zhanhai, do you have more people than us?" Right now, the Long family was at a complete disadvantage. The Long family had arranged for people from the start, and the other three pillars were the same as well. Fu Qianqiu became even more proud. "Long Fei, kneel down and call upon your ancestors. Ha ha ha." Nangong Lei, Li Chongtian, Zhuge Tianlong also shouted in unison, "Long Fei, you better kneel down and admit defeat, or else, ha ha." They all wished that Long Fei would not kneel down and admit defeat, and only then would they have an excuse to kill Long Fei because of the chaos arrows. Seeing Long Fei not moving, Nangong Lei was extremely happy in his heart. "You dog, today I will make you die. Revenge for the death of my father." This time, it was different than in the Long family. This time, Nangong Lei was extremely confident that he would be able to take Long Fei down. Long Zhanhai said to Long Fei in a low voice, "Xiao Fei, leave first later. Leave this place to me." At this moment, Long Fei laughed, walked up, and looked at Fu Qianqiu, then looked at Nangong Lei and the other two, and sneered, "How do you know that I didn't succeed in improving? Did I say that I didn't succeed in improving it? Huh." Nangong Lei trembled slightly. If Long Fei had successfully improved, then everything that happened today, he would become a joke. Fu Qianqiu laughed. "Can a useless person like you succeed?" A cold light flashed out of the corner of Long Fei's eyes. He looked at Nangong Lei and continued, "Duke Nangong, you all hoped that my improvement would fail. You all have already arranged people to harm me, right? You are truly sinister, but your people came out a little early." The moment his voice fell, Long Fei instantly moved and landed in front of Fu Qianqiu, saying darkly, "If it wasn't for Fu Xishan, your head would have already landed on the ground." His eyes were like the eyes of a death god. Fu Qianqiu's body involuntarily trembled. Nangong Lei bellowed, "You said that you succeeded, so take out the improved true pill. Can you take it out? If you can't take it out, then you lose." Long Fei was not anxious at all and coldly laughed. "Some people are despicable after all. If we don't slap their faces, they won't even know how painful it is. Open your dog eyes wide and see clearly." Long Fei took out a pill from the space ring. "Huh. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha." Fu Qianqiu laughed out loud and said, "What is the difference between this and a true pill? This is just an ordinary true pill. You trash, Long Fei. If you lose, kneel down." Shua! Long Fei suddenly rushed forward and fiercely slapped him down and shouted, "There is a limit to my patience. If you dare say the word trash again, I will kill you." Pa! With a resounding slap, Fu Qianqiu fell to the ground. Without waiting for Fu Qianqiu to explode, Long Fei crouched down and coldly said, "Whether or not you are the Fu clan's true pill is not up to you to decide." Finished, Long Fei walked over to the black-robed old man who had been sitting down the entire time and said, You should be the person Nangong Lei has invited, right? Take a look at it. Under the black robe, two beast-like eyes stared straight at Long Fei, who smiled lightly and placed the pill on the table beside him. At this moment, Long Fei's back was drenched in cold sweat. What a strong aura! For a moment, Long Fei could feel that the black-robed old man had a unique power in his body. This power was definitely above the War Elder, a War Master ranker, an aura even stronger than that of his grandfather's. The black-robed elder picked up the true pill on the table. The idea moved. After sensing it for a bit, his eyebrows creased, and he immediately swallowed the true pill. The most direct way to determine the quality of a pill was to consume it. The medicinal pill entered his body. The dense spiritual energy exploded. At this moment, the old man's eyes opened and his body trembled. Nangong Lei's eyes moved. He immediately shouted, "Long Fei, you dare poison my teacher. You're courting death." Long Fei ignored Nangong Lei and smiled at the black-robed old man, saying, "How is it? Is this considered a modified true pill?" The old man in black closed his eyes. He was still immersed in the world of pills. Very good. It felt wonderful. Every single time the spirit energy collided with a pubes, it would be either fire, water, or earth. The power of the 5 elements constantly surged forward. It felt wonderful. He was incomparably shocked in his heart. Just how did he do it? To be able to refine a perfect stage pill into this, the amount of spirit energy in it is several times more than a normal true pill. How exactly did it happen? Shock. It was incomparably shocking. The guards of the Duke Nangong Palace rushed to Long Fei's side. It was also at this moment that the black-robed old man stood up, looked at Long Fei, and asked, "How exactly did you do that?" He was an Earth-rank alchemy master. He was a great alchemy Grand Master of the Heaven Sect. What kind of pills had he not refined before? But he had tried to improve the true pill before, and it was simply impossible for him to succeed. Long Fei actually did it. His talent was too unbelievable. The entire audience suddenly went silent. Long Fei did not answer. "Tell me first whether I succeeded or not." Everyone looked at the black-robed elder. Fu Tianxiu, Nangong Lei, Zhuge Tianlong. Everyone looked at the black-robed elder, even though the black-robed old man did not want to acknowledge Long Fei. But he was an alchemy master. His pursuit of medicinal pellets was greater than his pursuit of martial arts. Ha ha ha. Long Fei laughed out loud. He turned and stared at Nangong Lei. "Did you hear that? I succeeded." Fu Tianxiu, kneel down and kowtow to this daddy, and call me ancestor. Chapter 98_8419/23564999 Nothing else is important. Just get the result. Nothing else is important. Just get the result. Fu Tianqiu's heart was startled. He could not believe it at all. He stared at the black-robed old man and said, "You are in cahoots with him, right? To improve the true pill of my Fu family. Is he even worthy?" Nangong Lei became anxious and asked, "Teacher, what exactly happened?" He was stupefied. Everyone was dumbfounded. Even Long Zhanhai was confused. "What's going on? I already said that Long Fei lost. How did he win the bet so quickly? Could it be Long Fei had really succeeded?" Long Zhanhai himself didn't quite believe it. His ancestor once said, "The bodies of the Long family members aren't suitable for alchemy. Even if one wanted to refine it, it wouldn't be far." Therefore, the Long family had never advocated alchemy for disciples. The crowd below the arena was also in an uproar. "Did you succeed?" "He really succeeded?" "Impossible. True pill is not some other pill. It's impossible to improve it." Could it be that the black-robed old man was bribed by Long Fei? All sorts of questions sounded. Long Fei didn't explain, in the slightest. Step by step, he walked in front of Fu Tianqiu and coldly laughed. "Didn't Fu Tianqiu say that he was very good just now? Kneel before your father now." The Long family had no shame, and the Fengyuan Merchant Union had no shame either. Kneeling before Long Fei in front of all the people in the city would cause the Fengyuan Merchant Union's reputation to suffer a great loss. It would also become a criticism of competitors. Even the business of the Fengyuan Merchant Union in the Fire-Glass Dynasty would be pushed out. "Can't kneel." Fu Tianqiu clenched his fists and shouted, "Long Fei, you said that you have successfully improved and improved. I don't believe that you can refine one right in front of me if you have the ability. Otherwise, I would never believe you." Nangong Lei looked at the black-robed old man, who remained silent. Nangong Lei also took a step forward and shouted, "That's right, that was a modified true pill, but who can prove that you refined it yourself? You can fake it. Long Fei, you better refine it in front of everyone, or else you've lost." "I don't believe it." No one believed it, and neither did Nangong Lei. Zhuge Tianlong, Li Chong Tian, and the others did not believe it either. Improved true pill? Impossible. Many people below the stage also shouted loudly, "We have to refine it on the spot." "You're right. Otherwise, who would know where you bought these Ling Dan?" "Exactly. Long Fei, if you want to prove it, you must refine it in front of everyone in the city." Long Fei smiled, turned around, looked at Nangong Lei, and said, "Wasn't that slap just now painful? All right, I'll give you 3 more old things a slap." "Finished," Long Fei slightly shouted. "Prepare a pill furnace." Nangong Lei's face turned sinister as he said solemnly, "Prepare a pill furnace for him. Long Fei, if you are unable to concoct it, I will take your life." No doubt about it. The words succeeded from the black-robed old man were like a slap on the face of Long Fei. It was very painful, but they refused to accept it. Long Zhanhai walked over and whispered, "Xiao Fei, if you don't want to refine it, no one can stop you." He wasn't sure either. Long Fei smiled faintly. "Uncle, you can go now. I will slap their faces until they become swollen. Moreover, this time, I will let the Long family control the life vein of the Fire-Glass City's medicine." What is a true pill? Pills that had abundant spirit energy and were the best supplementary pills for martial practitioners. Any martial artist needed it. Whoever could control this pill could control the market in Fire-Glass City. In the Fengyuan Merchant Union, Holy Dragon Mansion Zhuge of the alchemy family had occupied the medicine market, but it was immediately pushed aside because of this true pill. Like to play? Then let's play it big. Long Zhanhai looked at Long Fei. unable to see through his thoughts, but as long as it was something Long Fei wanted to do, he was willing to fully support him, no matter what. Disciples of the Long family, retreat. At this moment, Zhao Er took out a pill furnace from the Fengyuan Merchant Union. Lu Feng also stood below the stage, his eyes blazing with fire. Fu Tianqiu sneered and said, "Lu Feng, you are a dog of the Fengyuan Merchant Union. You can forget about leaving the Fu clan in your lifetime. Do you understand? It's impossible for him to succeed." Long Fei's eyes became angry, and the moment he grabbed the pill furnace, he bellowed, "Look carefully." And then the true breath surged, and the fire started. Next, he placed the same spiritual herb into the pill furnace. Long Fei's true breath was tightly controlled, and in the end, a few fire-attribute spiritual herbs that were gathered in the great desolate mountain range were placed inside, causing the true breath to frantically burn. Half a minute later, ding! Refining is a success. After the system's voice rang out, a rich fragrance permeated the air. Everyone in the surroundings could smell that the spiritual energy was extremely dense. It was also at this time Long Fei took out the true pill and immediately placed it in front of Fu Tianqiu. Did you see it clearly? His alchemy had reached less than a minute. It was dazzlingly fast. The black-robed old man didn't spare a single move, but he still did not see clearly and still did not know how Long Fei had managed to refine it successfully. Just with this alchemy alone, he had reached a realm that no one could compare to. Moreover, Long Fei didn't even look at the pill furnace. He knew that he had succeeded, which showed his confidence. Shock. Everyone was shocked. What kind of alchemy technique was this? Like a ghost, he was completely unable to understand what was going on. Fu Tianqiu's face turned pale white. He shouted once again, "You dog," this old man asks, "have you seen clearly yet?" Fu Tianqiu's body swayed, and he shook his head. "Long Fei, this is only an ordinary true pill. It hasn't improved at all." Its appearance was not any different. What shocked him was Long Fei's speed and her success rate. True pill were extremely hard to control and would easily fail, even if he was an alchemy grandmaster. Long Fei sneered and directly stuffed it into his mouth. He suddenly roared, "I'll let you experience what a newly obtained true pill is like." The medicinal pill entered his body. His spirit energy flooded in. Fu Tianqiu's pubes was continuously being struck, and the strong spirit energy was overflowing. Even the people around him could feel it. Fu Tianqiu was so shocked that his entire body was trembling. Impossible, impossible. The Fu clan was unable to improve the true pill even after studying it for thousands of years. You can't succeed. However, the truth was the truth. Long Fei did not care. He moved and shouted, "Kneel in front of me." Boom. Fu Tianqiu's body sank and started trembling all over. Pa! A slap landed on his face. Fu Tianqiu was instantly slapped so hard that he kneeled on the ground. Long Fei slapped down again and shouted, "Cow, cow." Bang! Fu Tianqiu's forehead heavily struck the ground, and blood poured out from his forehead. However, he still did not dare move, because he had lost. We lost so utterly. However, this wasn't the end. It was rare for someone to build up momentum for him. If he did not make good use of it, he wouldn't be called Long Fei. The true pill is awesome, right? I'll let you know, true pill is nothing but trash in my eyes. Long Fei slightly shouted, "All of you come out." The 10th chapter, the final 10 chapters had been sent. 8_8419/2356500. However, when he saw Long Fei's resolute expression, he muttered in his heart, "I'm not dreaming, I'm free." Long Fei looked at the excited Lu Feng and said, "Elder Lu, come up." Lu Feng walked up the stage step by step and looked at Long Fei. He did not know what to say, nor did he know how to thank him. Plop! Lu Feng suddenly knelt in front of Long Fei, kowtowed heavily, and said, "Thank you." Too sudden, Long Fei did not expect that, and immediately rushed forward to help him up, saying, "Elder Lu, what are you doing?" Lu Feng said heavily, "From today onwards, you are my master, and I am your servant." "Old Lu, what are you saying? You're free now. You're not anyone's slave, nor are you my slave." Long Fei's heart tensed up. Fu Tianqiu's eyes turned sinister. He snorted and said, "Slaves will always be slaves. The slave imprint on your chest will never be erased." Lu Feng's chest faintly hurt. Fu Tianqiu stood up once again and coldly snorted, "Long Fei, there are as many such slaves as my Fu family has. Lu Feng is but a dog of my Fu family, so if you lose, you lose." Cluck, cluck. Long Fei clenched his fists tightly, the anger surging, as he stared at Fu Tianqiu. Fu Tianqiu's heart calmed down. Looking at Long Fei's ferocious expression, he could not help but let out a cold laugh. "Am I wrong? Lu Feng, tell me yourself, are you a dog from the Fu clan? It's even a mongrel dog. Ha ha ha." Lu Feng's body started to tremble. Memories of the past began to flood into his mind. In his heart, fury surged, killing intent, incomparably thick killing intent. Fu Tianqiu continued to laugh. "Yo, an old dog like you would be angry once you change owners. Why haven't I seen you angry before?" "Ah," Lu Feng roared. Each word, "old dog," made him extremely unhappy. People have dignity. It was the same for slaves as well. Lu Feng lost his mind and pounced towards Fu Tianqiu. Fu Tianqiu frowned and said coldly, "You dog, if you dare hurt a single hair on my head, I will make you wish you were dead." The corner of Nangong, Lei's mouth drew back, laughed coldly, and shouted, "This show is not over yet." Immediately, the Nangong Imperial Manners guards suddenly shouted. The two war elder realm experts that Fu Tianqiu had brought with him also instantly moved and landed beside Fu Tianqiu. The moment Lu Feng touched him, he would be killed instantly. However, when all of this was happening, and Nangong Lei was accumulating his potential, Long Fei appeared and pulled Lu Feng back. "Elder Lu, don't be anxious. You can slap his face later." Nangong Lei squinted, feeling that it was a pity. As long as Lu Feng made a move against Fu Tianqiu, Long Fei would definitely help him. At that time, he would have a reason to surround and kill Long Fei, but Long Fei actually pulled Lu Feng back. This didn't quite match with his fiery temper. If it was according to what Nangong Lei had thought, then everything that Long Fei had done would be in vain. Face smacking was not a fight. It was not a form of crushing force. Face smacking had to be fast, accurate, and ruthless. The pill that was used to slap Fu Tianqiu's face. Immediately, Long Fei comforted Lu Feng and whispered something into his ear, then said softly, "Later on, you will do as I say." Lu Feng was startled. His heart immediately calmed down. He did not understand what Long Fei was saying, but after looking at him, he nodded his head and replied. "And Long Fei laughed lightly and continued to speak. "Pavilion Master Fu, open your dog eyes wide and look carefully." His gaze shifted as he looked at Nangong Lei and said, "Nangong Lei, the show has only begun." Nangong Lei's gaze darkened. The audience broke out into a flurry of discussion. What good show is this? Isn't it almost over? What's going on? What exactly does Long Fei want to do? Long Zhanhai said in a low voice. "If there is a riot later, if anyone dares to touch Long Fei, kill them." The corner of Long Fei's mouth lifted as he walked to the front of the stage and said, "The true pill is a top-secret pellet of the Fu family. It contains a dense amount of spirit energy and can only be refined by a high-level alchemy master. Table of contents. Today, now, right here, If I were to say that true pill is trash, then the new true pill that I, Long Fei, have developed can be refined by anyone who knows about alchemy. Begin. Chapter 11. This young master has been a commander for 9 lifetimes. Thank you for your rewards. 8_8419/2356501. As soon as he finished, the 4 level 1 alchemy students of the Long family immediately got ready. Long Fei took out the spirit herbs that the new true pill required and gave them to Lu Feng. Just do as I say, do not worry about other things. Lu Feng still did not understand. If it was as Long Fei had said, it would be absolutely impossible to succeed, and there might even be an explosion. This would be a huge joke. The Long family's face would fall. Seeing the resolute look in Long Fei's eyes, Lu Feng gritted his teeth and said, "Okay." Fu Qianqiu walked up and frowned, then looked at the spirit herbs and immediately laughed. "Ha ha! Do you think that anyone can refine true pill? Long Fei, the true pill is a product of thousands of years of hard work by my Fu family. Do you think that anyone can successfully refine it? You think that this trash is worthy of refining true pill?" Nangong Lei also sneered. "Long Fei, I have to admire your courage. You actually brought a group of alchemy apprentices to refine true pill. Originally, you had already won, but now you want to lose yourself. Ha ha ha. Then I'll be waiting to see your joke, your Long family joke." Zhuge Tianlong could not help but burst out laughing. Can the people of the Long family use their alchemy? Do these trash know what alchemy means? Ha ha ha. Li Chongtian laughed. "Even I, as a martial artist, know that the Long family has no alchemy at all. Long Fei, are you trying to embarrass the Long family?" "That's right. It's not the first time you've lost face for the Long family anyway." They were laughing. The people below the arena were also laughing. A member of the Long family's alchemy, everyone in the Fire Glass City knew that the blood lineages of the Long family were not suitable for alchemy. At most, they were only concocting some low-level healing pills. You want to refine a high-level true pill? It was simply a dream. Not to mention them. Even the disciples of the Long family did not believe him. They all looked at Long Zhanhai, who frowned and said, "Believe in Long Fei." He also knew that the Long family were not suitable for the alchemy, but he believed in Long Fei. Long Fei was a miracle. Long Fei stood on the stage and said indifferently, "Do as I say, and do not bother with other matters. If they like to laugh, then let them laugh as much as they want." Laugh! The corner of Long Fei's mouth drew back as he muttered, "Just you guys wait till you cry." While they were talking, the Dragon Clan disciples and Lu Feng started refining at the same time. The true breath surged. The fire burned. The spirit grass was placed inside. The flames suddenly changed. The release of the true breath also suddenly changed. Everyone was synchronized. It was like a mechanical operation. Fu Qianqiu could not help but burst out laughing. "This is called alchemy? Is this called performing acrobatics?" Ha ha ha. "Long Fei, I really want to laugh. If you want to tease everyone, you've done it." Fu Qianqiu was also an alchemy master. He was very clear on the refining process of the pellets. But these people called them alchemy. They all went against common sense and were all a group of idiots. Zhuge Tianlong was the same. He had the same thoughts as Fu Qianqiu. The Long family's disciples did not understand alchemy. Long Fei slightly said, "Don't be distracted. Focus." Half a minute later, boom, boom, boom. Several voices sounded in succession. "The furnace has exploded. Ha ha ha." The furnace exploded. Fu Qianqiu laughed complacently. And when he saw that everyone's pill furnace was buzzing with noise, he burst out laughing. At the same time he laughed, a Long family disciple stood up and respectfully said, "Young master, it's a success." Next, one by one, they stood up and said, "Young lord, it's a success." Finally, there was Lu Feng. He looked at the pill that was formed in the furnace with his mouth agape, looking at Long Fei in disbelief as he said, "Success, success." The entire hall was silent. Everyone's eyes were about to pop out of their sockets. Many of them rushed to the front of the stage and stared at the pills in their hands. At this moment, the dense spiritual energy spread out endlessly. Long Fei kept the pills and smiled. "Continue to refine." Following that, without even looking at Fu Tianxiu, Nangong Lei, and the others, he walked to the front of the stage and said, "The true pill is nothing. This is something that my Long family developed." After thinking for a moment, Long Fei said excitedly, "Dragon spirit pellet can be easily refined by any alchemy master with a 100% success rate. Come, come, come. Who wants to try one?" Long Fei took the pill and walked in front. Immediately, many people rushed forward and said, I will try. I want to try too." Putting down the 5 pills, the 5 of them consumed the pills simultaneously. Less than half a minute, the expressions of the 5 of them changed. Their eyes were filled with excitement, and they kneeled down in front of Long Fei. "I want to join the Long family. I want to join them." Suddenly, a loud sound was heard from the bodies of the other 2 people. "Ha ha ha. I broke through. I instantly broke through. I broke through the war spirit realm. It's been 10 years, a whole 10 years. I've broken through the war spirit realm. Ha ha ha. I instantly broke through 2 realms and directly reached the 8th level of the Battle Master realm. Young Master Long Fei, I want to join the Long family. I beg you to let me join the Long family." Out of the 5 people, 2 of them broke through in an instant. The power of this pill could be imagined. Long Fei laughed blandly. "Let's talk about the matter of joining the Long family later." One after another, more than a dozen of them instantly broke through to the next realm. One after another, more than a dozen of them instantly broke through to the next realm. Was the dragon spirit pill really that strong? He had to say it. They were also very curious, and many of them were also very curious. It was just that. Long Fei simply did not allow his subordinates to try because they did not have the qualifications. Looking at the 3 strange pills in Long Fei's hands, Zhuge Tianlong immediately took a step forward and said, "Let me give it a try. I really want to see what's so special about your dragon spirit pellet." The instant he took a step forward, Long Fei retracted his hand and said with a slight smile, "The dragon spirit pill is still in the examination stage. I cannot guarantee that it will have the same effects as everyone else. If there are any side effects, it's your own business. I, Long Fei, am not responsible. Pills have side effects." Zhuge Tianlong was very clear about this point. Zhuge Tianlong said, "Long Fei, I know more about pills than you. You don't have to bear the consequences of the side effects." Long Fei looked at Nangong Lei and asked, "What about the 2 of you?" Nangong Lei also wanted to personally experience the might of the dragon spirit pill and said, "I do not need you to bear the consequences." Li Chongtian was the same. Long Fei said, loudly, "This is what you guys said yourself. I didn't force you guys. If there's anything that comes out, it's because your bodies aren't strong enough." Saying so, he opened his palms, and the 3 of them swallowed the warm pills into their mouths. He chewed a few times. "Gudong!" He swallowed it at the same time. Zhuge Tianlong muttered to himself, "There's nothing special about it. What power resonance? Yeah, there's a sour, salty taste. It's a bit weird. Why can't I sense any spiritual energy at all? What's the situation?" Suddenly, pa! pada, pala, pala, pala. Just as if they were pulling huge chains, strange sounds rang out from behind their butts, following which the three of them simultaneously clamped their hands on their thighs. The chrysanthemums tightened, and their faces flushed red. Zhuge Tianlong's eyes were filled with anger. Long Fei, what did you give us to eat? Long Fei, I will kill you. Kid, what exactly did you give us to eat? Crack, crack. Pa. He couldn't hold it in any longer. Long Fei secretly thought for a while, wow, what 3 days and 3 nights, its power is so strong. Ha ha. It's even more powerful than the last time Zhuge Jinxiang was here. And then Long Fei said in a serious tone, pills, these are the new high-quality pills that I came up with yesterday. I forgot to tell you guys, the pill just now was not the dragon spirit pill. Crack. Zhuge Tianlong could not hold it in any longer. His butt made a pa-la sound, and some blurry feces flowed down from the bottom of his pants. Immediately following was Nangong Lei, Li Chongtian. All 3 of them had their butts wet, and they were even constantly letting out fart-popping noises. Every time they farted, a large amount of watery feces would pop out. Long Fei, I will kill you. Nangong Lei was furious. Zhuge Tianlong's stomach continued to tumble and growl as his face became incomparably pale. I can't do it, I can't do it. A large group of Li martial arts sects warriors quickly followed. They only saw piles of feces falling one after another on the road he walked past, and all the warriors behind him covered their noses. Zhuge Tianlong could not help but say, Long Fei, just you wait. Crack. Everyone in the audience burst out laughing. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Master Ho, what shit on your butt? General Li. Ha ha ha. It's so funny. Nangong Lei could not hold it in either. If he continued to stay, he was worried that his pants would get wet. Right now, he wished that he could tear Long Fei into pieces, but if he did not leave now, he would lose all his face. In the 3 pillars, other than the 3 most powerful people in the Fireglass City, they were all laughing in front of the entire city. Moreover, 3 Pillars' face turned ugly. Long Fei looked at Nangong Lei, who was frantically running away, and muttered, Take care, father-in-law. Ha ha ha. Long Fei laughed out loud and said, Do you think you're worthy to fight against me? The black-robed old man looked at Long Fei. His gaze tightened for a bit, then followed and left. This time, Long Fei, Long family's overall victory. Moreover, the influence of the Long family directly overshadowed that of all the other families. Because of the dragon spirit pill, this was only the beginning. The dragon spirit pellet would completely occupy the Fireglass City's medicine market. This pellet looked simple, but if Long Fei had not spoken of knocking on the door, even a great alchemy master would not be able to refine it. However, he had said knocking on the door that even a level 1 alchemy master would be able to refine it. Long family's Lianlong elixir manufacturing plant. Only the Long family could refine it. Divine Zhuge Prefecture, Zhuge Tianlong, had been squatting in the latrine for 2 whole hours, and it looked like he was about to bleed. Zhuge Jinxiang covered his nose as he stood outside the latrine, and asked, Father, is it that brat Long Fei? Father, there are only 2 days until Banquet of Forbidden Peak. I have already broken through the War Chief realm. At that time, I will definitely show him who's boss. Long Fei, just you wait. Crack. Crack. There was another burst of explosion in the latrine, which made Zhuge Tianlong feel like he was about to collapse. Everything that happened in the Fireglass City, the Nangong Imperial clan saw it all. Everything that happened in the Fireglass City, the Nangong Imperial clan saw it all. The originally dying Long family had risen swiftly because of Long Fei's return. The appearance of the dragon spirit pill allowed the Long family to return to the ranks of the four pillars. Right now, the Long family was at its peak, which made Nangong feel threatened. Ever since the establishment of the Fire Glass dynasty, the ancestors of the Nangong family had known that the Long family was their biggest threat. For the past few years, the Nangong imperial clan had constantly been weakening the power of the Long clan. The disappearance of the dragon Salyer, the death of several dragon god warriors, the dragon blood on Long Fei's body was extracted. It was all planned by the Nangong imperial family. He thought that the Long family would be annihilated this time, and that he wouldn't have to worry about the threat of the Long family anymore. However, he didn't think that the Long family would become even stronger after reviving. The limelight was too great. Just today at the morning assembly, Nangong received a report. Nangong Jun was only 5 kilometers away from Fireglass City. Nangong immediately sent people to investigate. So it was like that. Immediately, Nangong was furious, but after being enraged, he became abnormally calm. What happened with the Long family during this period of time was when Nangong Lei was dealing with them. As a result, he did not bother with it, nor did he look for Nangong Lei. Instead, he sent people to lock onto Nangong Jun. At the same time, he ordered the imperial guards to quickly retreat in case of need. Nangong Lai is dead. The Nangong imperial manor is in a mess. The most important thing right now is still the Long family. Long Fei. Also, that is the secret of the dragon Salyer. During this period of time, he had searched through all of the dragon Salyer's secret history. He had vaguely guessed that the dragon Salyer's secret was the dragon clan's secret, and whoever could solve this secret might be able to command the dragon clan. If he could command the dragons, then the Nangong imperial clan would surely soar through the entire sky martial continent, not hiding in a small empire in the South Horizon region. Every sovereign king had a strong ambition. Nangong was no exception. Control the dragon clan. Nangong couldn't help but become excited as he thought of this. He must properly organize this time's banquet of Forbidden Peak. And then Nangong walked towards his father's cultivation room. The Sky Martial Continent was divided into 5 main regions. The place where Fire Glass Dynasty resided was the South Horizon region. In the South Horizon region, Fire Glass Dynasty was as insignificant as a grain of sand. They couldn't even be found on a map. All these years, the Nangong family had always wanted to expand their territory, but the outside world was too strong. If not for them relying on the Fire Glass mountain range to protect the Fire Glass dynasty, this empire would have been destroyed long ago. If he wanted to change, then he had to become stronger. The Dragon Salyer's secret was perhaps the only way for the Fire Glass dynasty to become strong, and it was also a shortcut to rise to the sky in a single step. Long family. Inside Long Sanfeng's courtyard, Long Zhanhai slightly said, "I never thought that Nangong would actually not make a move and allow Nangong army to camp outside the city. It seems like his guard against the Long family has never been lifted." Long Sanfeng said slightly, "The Nangong imperial clan has never let down their guard before. They have always viewed the Long family as their greatest threat, so I'm afraid that they will have to join hands and go against the Long family." Long Fei was also secretly shocked. Who would have thought that Nangong would allow the Nangong army to station outside the city? This was a heinous crime. One could imagine. Nangong also wished for the Long family's destruction. If that was the case, Long Fei's forehead turned sinister as he said, "Grandfather, uncle, have you ever thought about mastering the Fire Glass dynasty by yourselves?" Long Sanfeng and Long Zhanhai were startled. At the same time, They looked at Xiang Longfei. Longfei said solemnly, "The Fire-Glass Dynasty is a world that our ancestors conquered. What kind of bird is his Nangong imperial family? All these years we have been defending the borders of the Fire-Glass Dynasty and obstructing the invasion of the demons without any rewards, watching our long family grow stronger and stronger day by day, the three great families suppressing him. Nangong Huat did not even have a fart, and after doing this many times together, we can only hope that the Long family would die without a burial place. A ruler like that, what is there to be loyal to?" During this year, Nangong Hua continuously weakened the power of the Long family. If not for his laissez-faire, how could the Three Pillars family be so brazen? Moreover, the reason why Long Sanfeng was heavily injured was because he was ordered to do it by Nangong Wudi. Seeing that they did not speak, Long Fei continued to speak. "Grandfather, uncle, if he does not offend me, I will not offend him. If he offends me, we can give him a point. The Long family has never been bullied. After so many years, what did the Nangong family give us? Nothing. Now that Nangong Hua is riding on our necks, what qualifications do we have to resist him? The people of the Long family never get bullied. Didn't the Nangong imperial clan like bullying us? Fine, this time I will remove his roots as well." Long Fei's qi was released. It was extremely dense. "If people don't offend me, then I won't offend them. But if they offend me, he. The ancestral tombs had all been turned over for him. If people don't offend me, then I won't offend them. But if they offend me, he. The ancestral tombs had all been turned over for him. This was Long Fei's personality. Don't provoke him. Otherwise, if I don't kill you today, I will kill you tomorrow as well. Rebellion, be the emperor. Ha ha. Think of all the F** king excitement. It had to be said that Long Fei was a little excited. He didn't even dare to think about these things before, but now he had to do them. Moreover, if the Nangong imperial clan wasn't stationed at the border by the Long clan, how could they have lived in peace for 10,000 years? Since you are being heartless to me, then don't blame me for being unrighteous. Furthermore, the remaining half of the dragon salyer is still in the Nangong family. At night, Long Fei's courtyard, Lu Feng brought over a dozen alchemy masters over. "Young master, these are all my friends from the Alchemy Guild. They can trust me." Lu Feng was free, but he did not leave. According to the slave rule, whoever saved him would be his master. Long Fei looked at the 10 or so alchemy masters and said, "You are old Lu's friends, which is also my Long Fei's friends. From today onwards, you are all members of the Long family, so I will pass the dragon spirit pellet to you without reservation." There were things that had to be said. Everyone else also said, "Young Master Long, don't worry. We understand all of this." Long Fei smiled slightly. "Very good. Now I want to give you all a task. Within 2 days I want you all to refine 10,000 dragon spirit pellets. 10,000 pills." Lu Feng was startled. Long Fei said, "That's right, 10,000 pills. I have already prepared the spirit herbs. You guys have not had any time to rest for the past 2 days and 2 nights. Can you do it?" "Yes. As long as I can refine a dragon spirit pill, I won't have to rest for 10 days or 10 nights. "Exactly. Young Master Long can generously teach us the secret of the dragon spirit pill. What reason do we have to not go all out? Young Master Long, let's begin." At this time, Long Shan hurriedly walked into the courtyard and said, "Young Master, I've bought all the spiritual herbs you wanted." "All right. Then let's begin. If you can refine 10 dragon spirit pills, hand them over to Long Shan." Long Fei was not long-winded. He had Long Shan bring carts of spirit herbs into the small courtyard, and also brought over 10 low-level alchemy disciples of the Long family in. Long Fei then explained the key point of the dragon spirit pill. Once she said it, everyone suddenly realized that they had never heard of or tried this kind of alchemy method before. Next, ha ha ha. I did it. I really did it. Dragon spirit pill. I concocted a dragon spirit pill. Long Fei needed an alchemy factory right now. He wanted to make the Long family's disciple, the Long family soldier, level up 1 level in 2 days. He wanted to crush Nangong Lei. Walking out of the courtyard, Long Shan hurriedly followed. He lowered his voice and asked, "Young master, if you tell them the secret of the dragon spirit pill, what if they spread it? Then our Long family won't have any advantages at all." Indeed, the human heart was evil, even if they were afraid of Long Fei, but who could guarantee that they would be loyal to him? If word of this got out, it would instantly spread, and the Long family would have no more advantages. Long Fei smiled faintly and said, "Don't worry if I am not even sure about this. I would not have taught the secret methods to them." Long Fei said in a low voice, "Once the Banquet of Forbidden Peak is over, you will lead a group of Long family's troops to Dragon Mountain Valley. Other than the people from the Long family, no one else is allowed to enter the hundreds of thousands of barren mountains." Long Shan was surprised and said, "I still don't understand." Long Fei smiled and said, "Just do as I say. It's not important if you don't understand." Actually, although the secret method of the dragon spirit pill was important, but if it wasn't for the great desolate mountain's natural fire-type spiritual herb, the dragon spirit pill wouldn't have been able to refine it. This was the biggest secret. As long as he could control the great desolate mountain, he would be able to control the dragon spirit pill. Without the fire-type spiritual herbs in the great desolate mountain, you can forget about succeeding. In the following time, every 10 minutes, Long Shan would enter the courtyard and collect the completed dragon spirit pills before quickly placing them in the hands of the Long clan disciples. And then there was the Long family's army that was hidden in the surroundings. Take it immediately and train it immediately. In less than an hour, hundreds of disciples had made their breakthroughs. Level 1 skill. An increase in strength meant an increase in strength. An increase in strength was nothing, but over 10,000 people leveling up was different. If he wanted to play, then he had to play big. This time, Long Fei wanted to make sure that some people would never be able to rise again. Nangong Imperial Clan. Nangong Lei looked out the window at the night sky and muttered, "There are still 2 days left. 2 days later, I will annihilate the Long family. Long Fei, it's time for your death." Nangong Lei was also making his final preparations. All the death soldiers were recalled. The warriors of the Li martial arts sect were also moving fast. This time, they were betting everything to destroy the Long family. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Thunder rumbled in the sky as lightning wreaked havoc in the world. It was as if the entire sky was about to split open. These 2 days were incredibly quiet. It was terrifyingly quiet. In the courtyard at the back of the mountain, Xiao Bai had returned. Xiao Bai said in a low voice, "Master, everything has been prepared according to your plan." Long Fei replied excitedly, "All right, pass my order to attack the Nangong Imperial Clan tonight. Remember, do not keep fighting. Do not leave any of the Nangong Imperial Clan's Imperial Guard's armor on the ground." Xiao Bai immediately replied, "Yes." 1 hour later, outside of Fireglass City, shouts and battle filled the air. Nangong Bing never thought that the Imperial Guards would suddenly rush out and flee in panic. When they stabilized their formation and started to counterattack, the Imperial Guards quickly disappeared. Moreover, after disappearing, These people quickly changed into different shapes and entered the city from the various city gates of Fireglass City, slowly hiding themselves. Nangonghua? Nangong Lei was so angry that his face turned white, and he said solemnly, "You stabbed me in the back, Nangonghua. You sure know how to scheme. You used our hands to get rid of the Long family, and now you're poking my knife again. You want to see me and the Long family suffer a crushing defeat. And you, Nangonghua, take advantage of me, right?" Obviously, he had received news that the Long family army had been annihilated. Right now, the only person who could pose a threat to him was the Nangong Imperial Clan's Imperial Guards. If that wasn't Nangong, then who else could it be? Baidu's sister-in-law, a half. Floating Life's strongest upgrade system, the black-robed elder frowned slightly and said, "The losses aren't that great right now. As long as we can eliminate the Long family and take over the palace in one go. At that time, I will let Dongfang Jian and Xiao Chongfeng work together from the inside. Anyway, first, the Long family. Chapter 15, with another chapter for your brother's support." He kept his bottom line up to 10 chapters, plus 5 chapters. Today, 15 chapters had been delivered. Brothers, please subscribe a bit more. Please, Haiyang. 8_8419/2356505. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.